Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Friday. I said
Friday?
Wednesday midweek live stream that we do, and this is episode 61. And as always, welcome Delboy.
Hello.
Yes, and yeah, I'll do what I normally do. I'll say, "What have you been watching?"
Oh, and do you know what? I wish I could turn around and say I've been watching a lot more, but I haven't. But there's a sort of a theme to what I've watched, and I don't know why. It's just
Oh,
happened this way,
mm,
right? I started off. I really fancied with the heat that's out there at the moment. I fancied watching Phase 4, so I put Phase 4 on because it's a weird film and it's got a weird soundtrack, and I really do enjoy it, and it's a lot of people don't, and I can understand it. And it always makes me itch. Every time I see him, I'm going like this. Okay, is there an ant on me? I
yeah.
don't know what's going on like this. Um, and the next day, I watched The Swarm. Don't know
Oh,
why. Just I watched The Swarm, right? Jerry Goldsmith score. I had to get
yeah.
that one in.
Yeah, of course, we've got it in quicker.
I had to get that one in. It is considered a poor film. It is a poor film. But it is nice to sort of like not watch a film for a long time and then go back to it and see how much you can remember. And there were some scenes that I went, do you know what, that wasn't a bad scene, and then you'd come up to a next one and you go, cool, that was shit. oh, oh dear, that was pretty poor. And I was watching an episode of Star Trek, right, about the next day, and I suddenly got the urge to watch Kingdom of the Spiders. I don't know
Oh,
why. Watch
yeah,
Kingdom of the Spiders. Um, William Shatner spider film, shit, mega shit, but mesmerizing to watch. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And after I'd watched those three films, I cleansed my palate with Sinners, which I know you want to talk about. So I'm not going to say
Yeah.
much about
Oh,
it other
you
than
talk about it as well.
I was really impressed with it. I think it's a great film. I didn't find it slow at all. I found it to be a very good character-driven story with a total change of pace at the end. I think is the best way to actually
Yeah.
actually say.
Yeah.
And I think for anybody that hasn't seen it, it's got a Dusk Till Dawn type feel towards the end, but in a much classier way. And the thing I liked about it the most was it was about minorities. I don't know why this is making noises, by the way, because it's turned the volume off. That's what I was doing when you were doing. Let me see if I can just turn the volume down. Yeah, it says volume's off. I haven't got a clue. What was I saying? Yeah, the minority thing, it intrigues me because with so much history being taken away from teaching school kids, in regards to slavery and all of that sort of stuff, when you get to something that's set in the 1930s, which means we're not at World War II yet, we are talking about the Americas, where most of these people would still be probably working in farms. You know what I mean? It's a very powerful piece to watch when it's a character driven story. So that's what I wanted to say about that. I'm going to let you finish with the rest of it. Other than it's a great thing. I loved it, and that was the best thing I think I've watched this week. I have watched a few TV programs, nothing special, and yeah, I'm intrigued more to know what you've been listening to. So I'm going to shut up and let you talk.
Okay. Right. I'll start off. Well, I might as well start just where you left off, really. Yeah, I watched Sinners, and I think it's one of the best films I've seen this year.
Yeah.
possibly my favorite film.
I mean,
so far.
I didn't say that at the end, but it's that I'll tell you what. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a class film.
I was thinking already what my films that year will be, and this certainly I know will be in that selection. Whether it'll be number one, I don't know. The other one I know already is Companion, which I saw, I think, in January, which Companion was a brilliant film. But this will be, I think even this is better than possibly Companion. It's certainly going to be in my top. It's just a brilliant film. It's there will be people moaning and going, "Oh, it's a bit slow" and all that. It's called development of characters, getting to know
That's what I was getting at.
Exactly.
I think seriously, people that say it's slow, I think it's more to do with the choice of period that it's in.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, we're not talking the hustle and bustle of the 2020s, right? We're talking 1930. I think it's 35, 33, 34.
I think it's early 30s. I think maybe 32, 33, I think.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're not talking like Dukes of Hazzard and all of this sort of stuff. Even though it's set in that sort of like country type thing, you know what I mean?
And another interesting thing is that one of the characters, he's got a lot of money. He sees that money is power.
Yeah.
And he's got this money, and this is he opens the nightclub, which again is an interesting thing that we often think about, forget that there were black entrepreneurs, people who were getting money, who were doing their own business. We often get the image that a lot of black people were in poor situations, which they were, because slavery slavery was in a different form, if you want to put it like that. It'd been officially, we're
very, very close to the Wall Street crash. I think that happened.
That had happened. Poverty.
So to have a certain person that's black and have money is pretty much unheard of, because a lot of people bought themselves out of slavery only 30 years previous. They weren't even given a release. They had to pay them. What
was painful and terrible for them, they bought them out of slavery, but then they discovered that they walked into apartheid. Because that's what it was. They'd got their freedom, but the freedom was very much limited. And also, we still got to remember that the Ku Klux Klan and all this was still going on. There were discrimination was going on still. So it's one of those periods which things are not defined at all totally yet. And I say what I like, and I think he's revealing about this the lead character who has the money to open this nightclub. It's like it's showing that they can be strong and independent, and they can do this if they've got the money to do it. Probably if it was in the southern deep south, that club would have probably been burnt down. It would. They wouldn't have got that far. The deep south was still very much a no-go area in many ways for black people. But in the more northern areas, which had always been more progressive, they had the freedom through money to build up, like businesses and things that would really get them involved in society. Because that north-south divide was still there. It still was there. It was still there, definitely. As I say, you if you went down south, you'd see buses with whites only seats. The black seats were that people were separated from. Benches, even a simple thing like a bench, sitting down. You'd have white and black benches. So, and it was everywhere still.
Something I haven't mentioned when I was doing it is that I was impressed by the music. We talked about the music earlier, right?
Yeah.
But I've actually ordered the score, not the
Oh,
music of the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
It's done by a Swedish composer, by the way, and he
yeah,
did the music to Oppenheimer and Black Panther
yeah,
and Tenant. He did that as well.
yeah,
Um, and I thought the score actually fitted in with the music of the time because it's a background score, but then you've
yeah,
got the music of the time, and you were more impressed with the music of
yeah.
the time.
Oh,
And
the
I
blues, I
agree.
loved it.
I
Yeah,
agree with you,
yeah,
but it's got a blend,
yeah.
and it's
Yes,
weird.
yeah, yeah,
It's weird to have a Swedish musician,
yeah, yeah,
um, because you'd think that they'd choose someone, probably an American composer that
yeah,
would know more about the music of the time, because it really is a bluesy, jazzy type thing, even if it was nightclubish. And
yeah,
it would have been playing. You got to remember that nightclub would have been set for a specific crowd. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I really like the music as well. I've ordered the steel book ages ago, but I ordered the soundtrack because I liked
yeah,
it. I thought that it's
yeah.
one of the first soundtracks I've ordered and bought on CD in quite some time, because I've
Wow.
been buying back catalog stuff mostly from
Yeah,
La La Records. I haven't actually been
yeah,
buying modern stuff.
yeah,
I've forgotten his name. I think it's Ludwig Göransson, something like that. I
yeah,
can't pronounce his name.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
can't pronounce his name.
yeah,
But I did like the Black Panther themes, and that's where I think they probably looked at his catalogue and then chose him.
yeah,
The
yeah,
Black Panther is very much a tribal
yeah,
type.
yeah,
Oppenheimer's totally different. Oppenheimer's
yeah.
weird.
And we both would recommend it to anybody to try and
Oh
watch it.
God, yeah,
You know, it's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's it's going to be in there. Our films of the year already. You can
yeah.
tell. It's just you
Yeah,
straight away.
I know when I'm looking at a good film, when I
Yeah,
watch it and then I want to know everything about it, right? I want to know
yeah,
the production of it. I want to know who did it. I want to know who did the music. I want to know where these actors came from. And I'm on the
yeah,
internet going, right,
yeah,
like
yeah,
this. And, it's been a long time since I've seen something where I've done that,
yeah, yeah.
and I've gone, oh, what was going on in 1933? I typed that in.
Yeah, so you get the
You know what I
history.
mean? I
Yeah.
wanted to know what was going on in England in 1933. I wanted to know what the cross difference was between continents.
1933 in Germany was a big thing. Hitler
Well, yeah,
coming to
yeah,
power. Yeah,
yeah. That might have come into it a little bit, mightn't
yeah,
it?
it might
You
do.
know?
Now, let's see. There are some other stuff that I've really enjoyed that I've watched. I seem
Oh
to
yeah, I
forget.
just wanted to say the other thing I saw on YouTube.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say congrats, on another bloody big box of shit that you've got from that bastard Tony York, that we're going to be talking about now for about another 6 bloody months, right? And all I'm going to be hearing is of, where am I going to get the cases from? Where am I going to print the bloody covers from? And oh, by the way, look what I got about a month ago from Tony York. Bollocks. Right, carry on.
Right, the first thing though that I've
Yeah.
got isn't the Tony York one.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well,
Yeah,
bloody hell, go on. Must be a
it's this
bumper
one.
selection
It's
then.
called Stonehurst Asylum.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a great cast. It's got Kate Beckinsale. It's got Ben Kingsley, Michael Caine. What a cast this is. Now, Jamie Muckman Movies, he
Oh, that other bastard that I know,
he
yeah.
didn't like it that much. He got rid of it. Me, I absolutely loved it. To me, I love asylums in Victorian time. It's a theme that we've come across
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
This is
It's in Penny Dreadful and a load of other stuff.
it's set in. This is interesting because it's set in 1899, so it's the new century is going to begin in. So we're still in the Victorian era, and I thought it was brilliant. What's up with you, Jamie? I know Jamie just didn't like it. To me, it's like a gothic horror, but it's that sounds too simple almost with it. it's got so many good things about this.
What year did it come out? What year did it come out in?
This came out in, let me, I've written 2014. 2014 this came out.
It's a TV series, is it, or a film? Or
no, this is a film. It's an actual film. And
see, what you got to remember is Penny Dreadful, which is more a homage to Universal Monsters.
Yeah,
is also a Victorian Gothic.
Yes, yeah.
Set in London, almost like Jack the Ripper type sets and all that sort of stuff. And here you are with another one, which has got no homage to horrors and to that, right? But the setting, it's so you're probably going to have people that will do a comparison saying, "Oh, it's boring because there's no vampires and no werewolves and all this."
It's interesting because I kind of guessed the direction it might go and the twist, but I don't think that put me off too much because I've seen this kind of thing before. But I thought it was really well done. I enjoyed the twist in the end. I'm not going to tell you what the twist was because it would spoil it for anybody who hadn't watched it, apart from Jamie, who didn't like it and got rid of it. But
he's already seen it.
Yeah, for me, I really enjoyed it, and you can't go wrong with a cast like that. And then the next film I want to mention is this one. You can do your Tony York rant now. This is The Savage Innocence. It stars Anthony Quayle in this, and it's got Peter O'Toole. And this is great. It's called The Savage Innocence, I think. The Innocence is this character which Anthony Quinn portrays. He's an Eskimo, and sort of white man civilization he's not really come into contact with it. He lives in the wild, but he does eventually come into contact. And the story is about that through no fault of his own, he is committed for a murder has happened, and he's blamed for it. It was an accident, but nobody's going to take that in. So Peter O'Toole is one of these who've been sent to get him and bring him back to justice, but he doesn't understand it. He's quite naive, this innocence about what white civilization. I won't go into any more about that, but I thought it was a fantastic film. Great performance. And it's something you don't see that much about Eskimos. So to see Eskimo civilization was really good. So that's called Savage Innocence. And then
that was really nice. That was really nice of Tony the Bastard York. Yeah, great.
Now here's another one. This has got a great cast.
Don't tell me Tony York sent it.
Yeah, this is called.
Yeah, what a shock. Yeah, go on.
Behold a Pale Horse, and this is set in 1939 on the border, the Pyrenees, and it's a story about a rebel leader from the Spanish Civil War whose mother, he knows is in hospital dying, but he also knows that if he goes back into that country, it's likely to be a trap by the nationalists to get him. And he's got this dilemma. The cast is great. Gregory Peck I find interesting because he's one of these sort of resistant Republican rebel leaders who he's not always a nice character. He makes awful decisions. Sometimes Gregory Peck plays a character you think, oh, what a great, there's a morality about his character sometimes and really good. But I like the fact that he's not in this. He's quite different. I just love the way he's portrayed the character. He's had some depth in it. He's not a bad character, but he's been shaped by events in his life that makes him like he is. And that's it. And then it's interesting that Omar Sharif, without the mustache, that's it. And I'm saying, is that Omar Sharif? Yeah, he hasn't got a mustache. He plays a priest, and he's very good. You can see why he became sort of a bigger star, Omar Sharif. But I like this. I enjoyed that because it was Spanish Civil War period. Great. And then let's get back to, well, this was a series from 2004. It was called Gunpowder, Treason and Plot.
Oh yeah.
It was shown on TV. I think possibly Channel 4. I may be wrong on that. It could have been BBC. But it was this TV series. And basically, it's in two halves, as this series. The first one is called Mary, and that's about Mary, Queen of Scots. And then the second one is called James, which is about, of course, son, James the Sixth in Scotland, who became James the First in England, and the beginning of the Stuarts. So there we are. It's my period. We're in the 17th century. So it's starting in the 16th century, and the story of Mary, Queen of Scots, fantastic story, and it was his mother, and then we get that. And Robert Carlyle, I think, is really quite good, and a different interpretation in many ways of James the First. He plays him as and he was quite a crippled character who didn't like women, who only did his duties. He told his wife straight away, "I'm just doing this to have a son," and that's it. There's no affection in it.
Yeah, because it was all about inheriting, wasn't it? Then
that's it. He wanted
Henry VIII. It's why Henry VIII was always looking for a boy, you know. But
he was a gay bloke who had his favourites, and that was it. He made no bones about it, and that's it. But Robert Carlyle I thought was really good in this. But this is just good. It's just history. It's showing you that period in time, because I'm interested, obviously, in Civil War period, and it's showing you the seeds of a lot of that. What happened?
It's War of the Roses, isn't it?
No, not War of Roses. War of Roses still does have an impact from that, but that War of the Roses is more leading to Tudors, Henry VII.
Yeah.
But this is it's a good tale, and of course Catholicism. Why Catholicism?
Well, yeah, Protestants and all that
danger.
Sort of stuff.
Yeah,
because the church was a big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you've got the extremists, and of course the Puritans will link up to the next thing that I'm going to show you, which is they decided they'd had enough. They didn't want to be part of monarchies and all that sort of stuff, so they went over to America. Mayflower, 1625, lands all these Puritan settlers who start the colonies. Anyhow, so there's that one. And that leads into this one, which is called.
Yeah, tell me some just quickly. I've just been thinking about that. So Henry VIII had his Bible with him listed as the person closest to God, with his picture and his book. His Bible was an edition of the Bible, wasn't it? When did it actually go back to being the Bible that we recognise from Italy?
James the First. If you look now, people talk about the King James version of the Bible.
Right, King James. Right,
and he got these scholars together, and all the scholars put together the Bible that was used for so many years. It has been superseded with a newer version, a more modern English version, which they have now. But they do talk about the King James version of the Bible. It's still used, and that was his legacy, I suppose.
Well, basically putting the Bible back on track to that is,
The thing is with James, also remember as well, he was a Scottish king, and there was no Tudor.
You can't win them all.
Yeah, there was, Elizabeth, of course, didn't have any kids or got married, so it had to go to the next one, Mary, Queen of Scots' son, which was, of course, James the First. So the Stuart line began. But they had this belief. The problem with the Stuarts, that they had this belief that they were appointed and anointed by God, right? And therefore they shouldn't be questioned. And whatever they said, people should do. Now, the Puritans, interpretation of the Bible, they felt they'd been hounded out in many ways, and they went to New World, but there were still Puritans within Parliament. People like Oliver Cromwell, who got involved in that sort of politics, but there were more extreme examples. So you were already heading for some sort of clash here because of the ideology about the king.
Your period that you like is after mine. I mean, I like Henry VIII and Queen Elizabeth the first period. You like the period after that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason that I like that, I think it's probably easier for me to understand what was going on. But the rest of it is like trying to abolish Parliament.
But the Tudors,
you know what I mean? The king can't rule like they do. So we have
the roots of that, because it's Henry VIII is where, you know, the excuse was there that the break with Rome, it was a political thing. But of course it opened up the religious aspects, because, you know, there were those that said, oh yeah, you've done this Church of England, that's fine. But I think a lot of them thought in the future, after he died, we'd probably go back to Catholicism, because Mary was a Catholic who followed, and she was an extreme Catholic. But the thing is, the influence of Protestantism had become ingrained in England, and also it realized that they could grab all the land from the monasteries and all that sort of stuff. People became rich. It was a money grabbing thing as well. And also in terms of foreign policy, it was important because you didn't have to follow the Pope.
Weird times. I mean, at the end of the day, who'd have thought it, right? A king that could be gay, and you know, basically they hid it, but at the end of the day, I don't think anything really would have come of it if they got found out. But if you happen to mention that you're a Catholic, you'd have your balls chopped off and put drawn and quartered and everything else or something, right? Because we're trying to bring the Protestants in, and then it would be we're trying to bring the Catholics back in, and then the Protestants would be undrawn and quartered and bloody and then all of the churches would have been ripped off of all their money, and they're the biggest land owners and all this sort of stuff.
And you see the horror for everybody was that in the end, it led to the execution of a king. Charles I got his head chopped off. The Republic was there. The Republic happened, but it didn't work out well.
Anyway, we're boring the pants off of people here, so let's get on with your Tony York extravaganza.
I love this series. I think you'd enjoy this New World. It's a good. We can see why America, the colonies, became a republic. You can see it. Oh, the seeds are here in this. I think that's it, really. I think I've gone through enough.
So we got 3 Tony York extravaganzas in there. So we would expect to see the other 47 over the next 6 weeks, I suppose. I know that you'll probably do a whole series of the Sweeney. Right? I know that's coming. Right. And while you were talking there, I was thinking, I've got an idea for you and your shorts, right? You could do a ranking of 1 to 5 of Tony York's DVDs that have been sent to you, right? And then you could start off with the ones. You know what I mean? Leading up to the 5-star stuff. You know what I mean? And then call it the Tony York extravaganza section. You know what I mean? You can do that as a bunch of shorts, and I won't charge you for the idea. Not a problem. I think like I said, I think that'd be very good.
Right then. let's get on with the comments.
Yeah, why not?
Right. So we've got Si saying, evening all. Evening, Si.
Evening,
Welcome.
Si.
And then we've got Wee Bob Art. Evening, Si. Playing Football Manager and listening along. All right. Doing some games.
Hang on. Football Manager? Out which one? I mean, how far back are you going? I mean, Football Manager on the spectrum was like 1983.
And here we have Steve's Gaming Part 2 saying, hi guys, just finished watching an episode of UFO. We'll be with you in 6 to 7 minutes. So you should be here now, hopefully.
None of this watching UFO shit. Right? Get yourself here. You should have paused it and watched those 6 or 7 minutes before you go to bed at about 12 tonight. None of that crap. I ain't having any of that.
And then Si says, hi, Wee Bob. And then Si Rosen says, Sinners is my film of the year by a country mile. I wish it was released later on in the year because it's worthy of several award nominations. I'm sure it will get more recognized. I don't know. Does horror get?
I don't think it really matters with the Oscars anymore.
No,
it'll be remembered and brought up.
Yeah. And Wee Bob Out says, I enjoyed Sinners, but it did feel like Twilight in parts. Ooh.
I saw the first Twilight film and didn't want to watch any more.
Oh, there you are. I've never seen any. I have no inclination. No inclination at all.
I don't get that. I do see what he's trying to say, but I didn't like Twilight. You know what I mean? Even True Blood is a community, it's a TV series about vampires.
Yeah.
In a community, like the Deep South type thing.
Yeah.
And I still think that Sinners stands out.
Yeah.
That, you see what I mean? But no, I get it. I mean, Twilight is like, you see, I put Twilight down to be like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but in a film version with vampires. I don't like that type of thing.
You don't like the tone of it. No.
I just excuse me. I just didn't get on with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to put it down because it did well. I just didn't like it.
It never appealed to me, but and then Daddy Juke says, hi, Si, and then hi, I'm good. How are you all doing? And then Si says, what do you think of the music of Sinners? You covered this. I thought the part when it shows the history of the blues was amazing. Yeah, I love that.
Well, I talked about the composer more than the music, didn't I? So
yeah,
you carry on. You know more about blues and
stuff.
No,
the blues. I thought that was so wonderful to see that ending. I thought that ending just sort of put it right there with the blues. It just showed you the importance of that music. I think. That period in time, and of course how that influence carried on. Without the blues we wouldn't have had rock music, really, would we? Because it wouldn't have led to rock and roll became into rock music. And the blues
they do say that early blues is heavily influenced on gospel.
Yes, it is. Yeah, where a lot of great singers came from choirs. Look at Whitney Houston.
Ray was a very religious background, wasn't it? Ray Charles.
They were a great place where they were able to sing the choirs and the churches. Fantastic stuff, and it was all part of that history. But the blues is so fascinating. Looking what it did because it went in two directions, really. It opened up. It's so important is the blues because, as I say, it led into the rock music area, and then it also ultimately it led into soul and what they call R&B and soul. So it's so important is the blues that it could take music in two very different but important directions. That is
Yeah.
the strength of the, the blues. Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, look at and then on the rock side, look at Elvis Presley. How did Elvis Presley start? He started singing all these gospel songs
Yeah, it's
and
gospel.
all that. All Elvis did, and then because he became that rock and roll symbol, the one that was important in development of rock and roll and ultimately rock music. So it's a fascinating history. I always love looking at that, how music went in its various directions, and it all stems from the blues and blues gospel music. I think, yeah, fascinating, absolutely. And then Si says, "Hi, Danny, mate." I thought it was great. It did remind me of Crossroads, right? Ralph Macchio.
Macchio, yeah, Ralph Macchio's in the Karate Kid films.
Oh,
Crossroads is that the devil, isn't it? With a guitarist, it's playing for a guitar or something, isn't it? Crossroads.
I don't know. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. I can't. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I know it's an incredible film. And in fact, I think
Is
I've got it
it?
on
It
DVD.
sounds
I think
good.
I've got it on DVD.
Oh, all right.
Um,
Oh,
but I always get the story mixed up with something else. But I'm
oh,
pretty
right.
sure it's about the devil and a guitar.
Oh, sounds good. That sounds good.
I'm going to look it up now.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm
So,
going to look it
yeah,
up. I always get the story wrong, but here we go.
yeah. It'll probably show you the TV soap opera thing. That's it.
Yeah, so it's a 1986 film, Crossroads. Hang on, Walter Hill, yeah. 17-year-old fascination for blues music while studying classic guitar, researching blues and guitar music brings Robert Johnson's mythologically creative acclaim to his attention, especially intriguing on the legends surrounding exactly how Johnson became a talented, most notably for one claiming one claiming he sold his soul to the devil.
Oh, yeah, yes,
as well as a famous song that was lost supposedly. Yeah, so that's what I always get it a bit wrong, because you've got all that devil went down to Georgia stuff. And
that's right. You have that, yeah.
I always get it mixed up, when I'm talking about that film.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it is about a deal with the devil. I know that.
Yeah. It could be like a Twilight Zone episode. They often have those.
It's much more classier than that.
Yeah,
You'd love it. Oh, you'd love that film. If you haven't seen that film, I'll bloody get it to you.
Yeah,
it is a good film. It's it's one of those films that I just watch like once every couple of years. I don't look at it an awful lot, but I just know that it's a powerful film, and it should have done better than it did.
Yeah.
One of those films where I think he did the Karate Kid, then he did that, and you'd think it would do better, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And then it's been one of those films that everybody talks about because they rented it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than saw it in the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we've got Tony's an evening, Ian, Dell, and chat.
He can sod off.
Yeah. Question.
Look how late he came in. He's supposed to be a person that protects us all. And he turns up like 25 minutes late and goes, "Hello, I'm here now." Yeah, bollocks to you. Right, carry on.
Oh, dear. Question. Do you like any Ryan Reynolds movies? Oh, God.
Well, I would probably say yes, but none really come to mind, because every time somebody mentions Ryan Reynolds, they think Green Lantern and all of that sort of stuff, don't they? And that's a piece of shit film.
Nice there.
And then, I mean, but he's been in a lot more than that, and his style of humor is always the same in every film. But then again, you could say that about Sid James and the Carry On films. It's always the same. Ryan Reynolds, all right. I just can't think of many good, like off the top of my head, what films have impressed me.
Okay, I'm cheating. I'm just having a look to see what there is. Let's see. Oh, of course, I forgot. Yeah, the Deadpool stuff. And I'm not a big fan of Deadpool. Free Guy. I've seen that one being mentioned quite a bit.
There's one just recently where he's some sort of like not a secret agent, but a bodyguard to a bodyguard or something.
There's something called If. I don't know that one, but If apparently. The Hitman's Bodyguard.
There you go. That one.
Yeah.
That one was all right.
The Adam Project. I wonder what that is. That sounds like sci-fi. Could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Amityville Horror. I forgot about that one. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Well, yeah, because that's where Deadpool comes from.
Yeah.
X-23.
National Lampoon's 5, is that? I don't know.
Is that National Lampoon's Vacation, the remake?
Vacation, that's it. Yeah, it's got It's
the remake.
I forgot Blade Trinity. It's in that.
Oh yeah, that ain't bad. Trinity. That's not a bad film.
Pokemon.
Oh great! Let's go down the Pokemon ring. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh, it's in a film called Life. I have seen that one mentioned before.
Yes, I've seen Life. Yeah. Life is on the space station where.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
They get that organism goes around and kills all of them. It was entrapped in a container, but basically they prodded it and removed it out.
Yeah.
I think it entered his body, and basically that was the end of him. He was trying to kill it with a flamethrower and everything.
Oh yeah. Now he's in the Fast and Furious thing.
I don't watch those films.
Presents, and I've never seen one. It says Fast and Furious Presents. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Spirited. I don't know. I haven't seen that one. I've heard of it. The Captive. Yeah. Detective Pikachu's second one. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Oh God!
I think we've named a few now, haven't we? I mean,
I think this is he's not kind of that I'd be watching most of these films.
You know what I mean? You didn't mention the Green Lantern, but when you do, that'll be about the end of it. So
yeah, that's it. It's not somebody I've really wanted to watch much of that. Anyhow,
and of course he's done a documentary, I think, on Wrexham Football Club. Don't know why.
Oh, of course, the football stuff. Oh no, yeah, I don't like. Yeah,
I wonder if it's because he bought them. Oh yeah,
I wonder why. Yeah, I mean, not proper, not proper. Anyhow, let's have a look. We've got we both out sent evening, Tony. Tony, it looks like I arrived at just the right time, he's saying. And then
because I'm having a rant at him, the little bastard.
Evening, Bob. And then so I said, I'm going to watch 28 Years Later tomorrow. I've been intrigued to see it since the trailer dropped. Oh, right. Well, that'd be great.
Is that the new film?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, I've heard of 28 Years Later, but I haven't heard of the film 28 Years Later Tomorrow.
Dear. No,
isn't that 20? Shouldn't that be renamed 28 Years Later and a Day?
Anyhow, I'm sure you'll enjoy. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Anyhow, you'll enjoy it. Yeah, despite Delboy on about his day.
Can you imagine the follow-up 28 years later and a day?
Yeah.
As a sequel.
Yeah. And then we've got Steve's Gaming Part 2. Can I just say it's my favourite actor's birthday last week? The national treasure, that is James Bolam.
He loves James Bolam. He really does.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a good. I like James Boland, but I won't watch him in that BBC crime drama
Fishy
thing.
Dishy one. When the boat comes in.
No, that's what he's been watching just
Yeah,
recently.
I knew he's been mentioning one. Yeah,
he was in that. He was in that recent detective type thing, wasn't it? With David with the bloke from Minder. Oh, I've forgotten his name and all.
I don't know. I haven't seen much of those.
You know, I forgot what it's called. The detective.
Dennis Waterman.
Yeah, Dennis Waterman was in it, and James Boland was in it as well. They're detectives on BBC. It's a BBC show. Anyway,
oh yeah, that was a few years ago.
Your sister's just turned up, so I've got to look after my mum. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right.
Okay, I'll carry on anyhow. Yeah, that's my area of interest. I have a fair bit of reading into theology and church history. Oh, I anything to do with that. I absolutely love all that. Massive interest because it all links up. What I like about history is, and this is probably one of the reasons I really get into it, is that whatever period of history that you think, oh, I'm really interested in that, you have to know the history before that to get where you are. So when you look at the Tudors and Stuarts, you have to really delve into the history before that about why all these things are happening. And certainly theology in the church history is very important in how the country was shaped and what developed into all the conflicts. And its roots, the way it developed, and why the Puritans believed that the church was corrupt, why it was bowing to a king, and I say the reason why they were the seeds of republicanism when they went to the New World in America. Absolutely fascinating look. And why Catholicism was still seen as a big problem, I think, for a lot of the English kings and queens. It wasn't until 1688 with Mary and William coming over from Holland that there was some sort of settlement there put in place. But the Catholicism, they were still persecuted, a lot of Catholics. It took quite a long time for a policy of toleration to occur. And that's that's how it is, the history in this period, and it all stems from all the things before the rise of the national states. The rise of the national states is when nations suddenly thought, well, why should we be doing what the Pope says? You know, we're an independent country. We shouldn't have to follow them. You know what the Pope is saying. And that's where all the sort of conflicts arose. And we were perhaps at the forefront with the Netherlands, because people forget Holland was quite a big power at one time. These were the countries that were rising up against the power of the Pope in Rome. And that's, say, leads to about the opening up of the New World and all sorts of things. Anyway, I'm going on, but there we are. You're probably going, oh God, and he's on about his history again. I watched the thing from Another World on Monday. It was a first time watch for me, and I had a blast watching it. Really, really enjoyed it. Oh, that's great. I presume that's is that the 50s sci-fi film, which is absolutely brilliant. I'm sure that must be the one. I suppose it's is that the one where it's the first one before The Thing. I'm sure it is the last in the 1950s, which is absolutely brilliant. Love that kind of sci-fi. Um, yeah, I mean, what can you say? That period is just a golden period of these kind of films. Great films, all sort of black and white, and that adds, I think, adds to it all. You know, when you watch them. Um, and then Tony says, "I'm sure I saw that on TV years ago. So I do hope the HMV Premium release to watch it at some point." Yeah, they Premium did release a lot of great titles, and you still can get some, can't you? And some they stopped doing, haven't they? They're out of print or difficult to get. That's the copy I have, Tony. Mama gave it to me for my birthday on Sunday. Oh, well, happy birthday. Brilliant. Yeah. Happy birthday, Si, for Sunday. And then here is Jamie, Bookman Movies. Evening, you old muckers. And you're not getting insulted. You're lucky. He hasn't started insulting you yet. I'm sure he will. Who knows? Evening, McMahon. And Si says, hi, McMahon. And then some great watchers there, Ian. Obviously, a person of great taste. Of course, yes, yeah. Yeah. Sorry about the insults, but you know how he is, you know. But yeah, obviously, yes, they're great. Honestly, they're great talents. You've got pretty good taste, I would say, Tony. Very good taste. History, yeah. Tony says, evening, Jamie. And Weedball Mark says, Football Manager 2023 Dale playing as Kilmarnock, my local Scottish team. Not doing great, but avoiding relegation. Well, that's all right. You support them. Always stick with your teams. I don't like people who go, glory hunters and all that sort of stuff. Whatever your team is, stick with it. From when you were young. That's all I say. But that's great. I don't know much about Football Manager. My son, I think, probably knows more about it. I'm sure he plays it, but you know me and games, I don't. So, but yeah, there we are. Our 2024 even, not sure. The latest one was on sale on a stream a few weeks back. All right, okay. But my movies, Nosferatu and Companion, are my favourite films of 2025 so far. Yeah, I wish, I don't understand why I didn't get on with Nosferatu. I just didn't. I'm not a fan of the original one, and I watched Nosferatu, and I don't know. I just didn't get my attention like it should have done. Maybe it's something I should watch again, but I don't know. But Companion, oh yeah, Companion, absolutely loved that. It's definitely in my top, say, with Sinners. Nosferatu, maybe I should give it another chance more. I was expecting, I think, a lot more from Nosferatu. The way everybody was talking about the original, actually, is long-winded. I know it's a silent film classic, but I don't really, I never really got into that. So that the remake is a vision of that director. What's his name? Is it Eggers? Who did it? And he had this vision, and he's done it, and it's not. For me, it wasn't something I like, but I appreciated what he'd done, the cinematography and the way it was directed. But that's it. I never felt connected with it really, which is a shame. Maybe I should give it another chance. But I think it's because maybe I'm affected by the fact that I don't rate the original one as much as people do who point it out. And I'm sure it is an important film in terms of development of cinema and the way we look at history of cinema. But I just never liked that. I watched it and thought it was over long-winded. and it's a shame. It's a shame for me. It was the same as Metropolis. I got the same with that, which is considered one of the greatest sci-fi films ever. Again, I wish I'd have got that, but I just didn't see it in the same way. I much prefer something like the H.G. Wells stuff of like Things to Come and all that. I much prefer that. But anyhow, that's just me. Have you got any comments about Nosferatu and Companion?
Believe it or not, I haven't seen Companion.
Oh, well worth seeing.
Nosferatu, I've got and I liked personally, but
Yeah,
I probably, like many, I'm one of the people that like the original.
yeah.
If you weren't in awe of the original, I don't see what you're going to find in the in a remastering. I call it a remastering, really. It's not a remake, it's a remastering. But I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it's not as eerie. It's more wordy, obviously, because Nosferatu's a silent film.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is it does the same sort of thing, with the shadows on the wall. It's an eerie type film,
Yeah.
And so, I like it. Companion, I haven't seen. I can't really comment on that. I need to get round to watching some films.
Yeah. Companion. I'd be interested to see what you think about Companion. Yeah, it's got a good premise.
There's been a lot happen this sort of like year that stopped me
Yeah.
from watching an awful lot of films, and there are gaps.
Yeah.
And one of them is Companion.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm just waiting for my sister she's basically getting my mum washed and everything, which I don't need to be around for.
Yeah.
So I really can't comment there.
Okay. And then we've got Wee Bob Art saying, yeah, Crossroads is about a deal with the devil, and Steve Via, I think, played the guitar. That's it. Yeah. So Ian, you need to see Crossroads.
Yeah,
it's really
I
good.
agree. I didn't know you hadn't seen it. So.
Yeah, I've not seen that. No, it sounds good. It sounds right on my street. Wee Bob Art for Ryan Reynolds. I do like The Proposal. Good one to watch along with the missus. Well, yeah.
Well, if you want to invite your missus round to my house, I'll certainly watch The Proposal with her, and I'll make sure she gets home in time to tuck you in at night, Bob. That's good, isn't it?
If it's a good family movie, The Adam Project is very good. Oh, right. Yeah, this was some Ryan Reynolds films. I was going to it. Yeah. I like the Adam Project. Yeah, the title was just intrigued me. I didn't know what it was about. Wee Bob Art Spirited is great. It's a musical version of A Christmas Carol. Oh.
The only musical version of A Christmas Carol that's even worth mentioning is the Muppets Christmas Carol. You've got to watch a Muppets Christmas Carol. It is the law at Christmas.
Yeah.
No, but I understand Spirited. Yeah, it's a musical version.
Yeah. Only seen the 28 films on TV. Probably get the trilogy on disc, as they'll no doubt issue them as a set. Yeah, they probably will. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, and he'll probably send you the first 2 films on DVD to your bloody address when he gets it. He hasn't added that, but it's
about. Tony says, "I like James Boland in the Beiderbecke Affair."
The Beiderbecke Affair. That's a great show. Great TV.
That's TV series.
Yeah.
I've not seen that. No.
I think it was a mini series, The Beiderbecke Affair.
Yeah. And then we've got.
I think that's the 70s. The Beiderbecke.
We've got Sandra.
I'm having a think here. Hi, Sandra.
Hello, Sandra. Yeah, saying hello. Hello. And then Tony saying, "Evening, Sandra." Jamie, good evening, Sandra.
Look at that, look, right?
Robson.
A woman comes into the room, 15 blokes are suddenly going,
Evening, Sandra, says Wee Bob Art. And
I
says,
could walk into a room, wouldn't get one alone. Right? Sandra comes into the room, 15 people are going, I've got to get on the low end. What's all that about?
Bob says, I'm looking forward to 28 years later. I do need to rewatch the first two.
Well, I'll tell you what, all of a sudden, it's on Sky, it's on BBC, they've shown the first 28 days later. There's been, I mean, I've seen it 3 times this week on the channels, flipping through. I mean,
yeah. The Thing from Another World inspired John Carpenter's the remake.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic.
It is. Yeah.
It was more a monster of the week type thing. You actually saw the creature. It was like a rubber. It was like in a rubber costume, so going around the Antarctic. But yeah, still good.
And then Tony says no because he's too busy insulting me.
What's the no bit? What's the no bit?
I don't know. It must be something.
I never insult Tony. I have a rant at him.
Yeah, of course. And then we've got Sandra saying, I bought the Gaffer today, network DVD. God, I've now started watching. Yeah, but looking forward to it. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Well, I remember it because I was a big fan of Selwyn Froggatt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And his Welsh choir, they used to have a song at the beginning. Selwyn Froggatt's and again, never mind.
Yeah.
And the Gaffer, did it go, he's the Gaffer, he's always on the move, he's the Gaffer, and he used to run a scrapyard or something. I don't know what it was. Is that right? He was in a sort of like a metal yard or something.
Yeah, it was, it's ages since I've seen
you always saw him arrive in a beaten up old car, having a fag out of his mouth. Looking unshaved, he looked like that character that you always see him in, like sort of like unshaven, large, driving around in rubbish mobiles.
Yeah.
With an old sort of like sheepskin coat or something on, or whatever it is. It was never smart was Bill Maynard.
And it's a network title, so I don't know whether.
Oh wow!
It's now.
If you say network 3 times, Jim Jam comes in the room.
He probably will do. It's probably difficult to get hold of now. And then I need to watch Nosferatu again. I think as I didn't love it. Yeah, I get that. Tony says Bill Maynard was a good comedy actor, Sandra. Yeah. He was. I love the Gaffer. Is that the one where his secretary makes cat pee tea?
Tea that's like cat pee.
Yeah.
Now my mum always said that if I don't make a strong cup of tea, it's like gnat's pee.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
The cat's pee. I don't know whether that was a thing.
Sandra says, she likes like Maynard. Tony, Bill Maynard even played a comedic figure in a Sweeney episode as a senior officer organizing an operation, and everything goes wrong. So, interesting. And then Weebover says, "Oh dear." Sandra says, "Delboy, are you liking your Switch 2? I got mine 4 days ago, and I'm loving it. I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077 and already have 27 hours on it."
27 hours? What have you actually had time to watch anything if you played 27 hours of Cyberpunk and you've only had the thing 4 days? I mean, think about this for a minute, right? 24 hours in a day, you spent at least 1 day and 3 hours of those 3 days playing that game. Bloody hell. I do like the Switch 2. I've mentioned in my blog the thing I liked about the Switch 2. I think it's a good deal. If you can sell your Switch 1 for a good price, I think it's worth the money. I don't think it's it's worth the money if you're happy to give that sort of cash out. You see what I mean? I mean, I'm never going to turn around and say, "You bloody idiot, spending that much money on that piece of shit." I ain't going to do that. It's if that's what you want, buy it. It's just that you are at the beginning of the life cycle of a console that's got very few titles at launch. I didn't think it was a fantastic launch in regards to titles for you to buy. They are telling me that Cyberpunk 2077 is actually a better title to own than Mario Kart. It's more impressive. I haven't got Cyberpunk 2077. Mine came with Mario Kart, and the game that I bought in the library was Fusion Frenzy. Fusion Frenzy is a Wipeout F-Zero type game, and it was literally about 15 quid, and that's the reason why I bought it. Cyberpunk, if I was to buy that, is like 60, 70 quid. It's an awful lot of money, 70 quid for a game that I've got on the PC. So I haven't rebought it, if you see what I mean. I want something new that I haven't got, rather than something that I've got that I can play on a handheld. So yeah. I'm so glad that you're enjoying it. I think that's the musical alarm to say I've got to go and out my mum. So that's that's not the ice cream. That's not the ice cream man. So I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to answer that. I think it's inspired if you bought that. It's just I've got it already, and I think it's a great console, but I also think it's one of those ones that I think will get better over time, and it might be a bit too early for people to buy. I think it'll probably be a Christmas smash. I'll be back in a bit.
Okay. Right. We've got Sai saying, I went to see a screening of Royal Tenenbaums. I've heard of that. Is that Gene Hackman? On Sunday. Midway through, a woman got up to go to the toilet. And when she got out, she fainted. Oh, she needed an ambulance. Wow. Oh, dear. Oh, that's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, I hope she's all right. That's, yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, Delboy, I don't have an OnlyFans account. Laugh out loud. There you are. I forgot to ask at the beginning, how's Mrs. Del doing? Tell her that I said hello. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, he's gone. We should have seen that before. We'll have to try and remember to pass that message on. Yeah. And I hope your mum's still verbally abusing me, Del. Oh, great. Oh. Oh, dear. And Weebomber says, need more questions? Oh, it will be a short night. Yes, it will, won't it? Yeah. Right. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I could put some questions to anybody. Anna, what film do you have any of you seen that you thought was really overhyped, and when you actually saw it, you were disappointed by it? What sort of films are that? Oh, the other way, films that people have really slagged off and said is a terrible film, and then you've watched the film and thought, why? I love this film. That's just the questions I just could think of. Right. And then Sandra says, I pass on my love to Delboy's mum. We'll have to do it when he comes back. Yeah, thanks, Sandra. My clock white comment was missed, I think, Ian. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I did see it, yeah. You can see how rubbish I am at this, can't you? Oh, here we are. Yeah, well, let's go back to it because it's a film I love. So, talking of comedy figures, I watched Clockwise. John Cleese's character is so much like Fawlty. Some great appearances from British character actors too. Absolutely love Clockwise. Clockwise is, in many ways, I know this might be sacrilege. I think it's better than A Fish Called Wanda. I remember watching Clockwise and just thinking, what a brilliant film it is. As you say, there's all these um, actors that pop up in it, British character actors, and I love the way it's a great comedy. The way it just escalates, and it, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Um, yeah, as I say, I think it's actually better than A Fish Called Wanda. I can as good as A Fish Called Wanda was the big hit. This, if I were asked to choose, I would choose this one. It's just such an easy, enjoyable watch and so funny. It's just brilliant. I love the way he's always thinking about the speech that he's going to give at this important conference as a representative of his school he's representing, and he's always going on about the speech in his mind, and it's and he's got to get there on time. That's the thing to this make this speech. It's wonderful. It's so funny. And a brilliant film. It just keeps you going in it. Absolutely love it. It's so easy to watch. Yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah. Yeah. Question, Weebaba. Other than Final Destination, which movies make bodies that are literally made of butter and just explode? I'd say Scanners is pretty extreme in terms of bodies exploding. The Scanners. God, I haven't seen that for years. It's a film I should rewatch. I think actually it's had a one of these re-releases. Could it be Arrow or somebody like that? But Scanners is one that always sticks in my mind. Absolutely love Scanners. Such a good film. But the Final Destination films, they're just one of my favorites. Absolutely. Other films that explode. I try to think. I can't actually honestly think of more than Scanners at the moment. I'm sorry, I can't think of anything else. I'm sure there is quite a lot, but yeah, that's my choice anyhow. Scanners that I can think of. Sorry about that. I'm sure Delboy's got some nice. Unless I dropped off. Oh yes. You mentioned. Oh, this is Weebombat. You mentioned Nosferatu. I wasn't impressed after the hype. Yeah. That's what I felt about Nosferatu. It did have such a lot of hype, and I think to be fair, it's made. Is it Robert Eggers who directed it? And he loves the film, and it was a big labor of love for him to complete. But I think because I didn't like the first one, I wasn't as impressed as everybody was about it. When it actually came to this, it just I just didn't get it in the same way at all, like a lot of people did. I did, even if we're going about the cinematography and the shadows and all that kind of stuff. To me, ultimately, it was the story. I didn't find it scary. I wasn't bothered about the characters. I didn't care about them all, and all the great sort of effects in it. As I say, it just didn't. I don't know. I didn't, and I certainly didn't find it scary. This Nosferatu figure, who's Dracula. I'm the sort of person who would say, no, I don't really like this Dracula thing. I want Christopher Lee. I want a proper Dracula. Or I want more of the original Dracula film, all that kind of stuff. This Nosferatu version, it just didn't appeal for me at all. Mind you, to be fair, I'm not a big fan of the Gary Oldman Dracula. Now, I know Jamie is, but I never got on with that at all. I suppose I'm too set in my ways, and I just absolutely love Christopher Lee as Dracula. That's it, really. A big Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee fan, and that's it for me. And then, oh yeah, this. I'm sorry. This might be interesting. It sort of kind of agrees with me. You mentioned Nosferatu. I wasn't impressed after the hype. That's what Wee Bob Hart said. I agree with him totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't for everybody. Like I said, it's one of those films where I do believe the hype came from. I believe the hype came from YouTube. All of the people that were looking forward to seeing it. There was a trailer, and I did hear some rumblings in the major film critic stuff that's on Sky Arts and Radio 5, like Simon Mayo's movie thing. But again, it was the chat circuit that was going, oh, I can't wait for Nosferatu. I can't wait for Nosferatu. I've seen the trailer. I can't see Whitney, Nosferatu.
That's all we heard.
On, and then it's out.
Yeah.
And then it was oh, I really liked it. And then there was really? I found it a bit of a bore.
Yeah.
And then you've got the two sides.
Yeah.
And I do think that a lot of stuff is a bit like that. And I think YouTube is the hype channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It hypes things up that you'd never think you'd hype.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Just before this, I just want to show you this. Sandra says, I pass on my love to Delboy's mom.
Oh, thank you so much. I've got to go back in 5 minutes, but then I'm all yours, guys. It's just got to do something because my sister has to leave the house and I have to lock the door, and I don't want to wake my mum at 5 to 11, 5 to 12.
Yeah.
I mean, when this stream ends, I swear I don't want to wake my mum up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I lock the door before she's gone.
Okay. Tony's agreeing with me. He says, I've only seen bits of A Fish Called Wanda on TV, so can't really compare, but I don't see it beating Clockwise. It poked fun at the public school system too. I totally agree. Yeah. I love Clockwise, and that's what I said. A Fish Called Wanda, as good as it is not as good as Clockwise.
See, the thing is, I think Clockwise is one of those handmade film type things, like The Missionary and all of that sort of stuff. It's pure sort of like close to origins to Monty Python. A Fish Called Wanda is the Americanized version of a Monty Python film. It's got the Monty Python people in it, but because you start adding things like Jamie Lee Curtis and so forth, you start to give it a more international quality, and you take away what makes British humor a little bit.
That's a very good point.
There are bits in it, like trying to kill the dog and the stutter and all of this.
Michael Palin's in it. Yeah, Michael Palin.
Yeah, that's definitely the British side of things, but then there's that language thing that turns her on is definitely an American thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I look at it as being two halves like that.
Yeah.
And I go, and you try to gel it, and it doesn't work. And then they caught lightning in a bottle because it seemed to work, but then they did the next one, didn't they? Which was set in a zoo. Fierce Creatures in a zoo, and that nobody talks about that film, and I found it unfunny.
Yeah,
didn't see the point in it.
Yeah,
and I kept talking to myself. are these the same characters from A Fish Called Wanda, or are they just the same actors doing different
Yeah.
characters? What is it? I couldn't quite work it out what the film
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
came away going, that's one I ain't going to remember.
That's why it flopped, really. I think.
I don't know if it flopped or not. Like I said, it's one that
No, I think
I
it did.
eradicated from my brain.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was nothing in it that
Yeah.
amused me.
But Clockwise, as you say, is a very British film. It's got that character, and that's why we like it, I think. It just fits
Clockwise
so well.
has got that manic Faulty Towers type thing about it. Of
Yeah, it's just
he's a strict teacher type, sergeant major.
he's
type
the
character.
headmaster, isn't he? Yeah.
With a character that's in it in his passenger seat that's such a teenager, you wouldn't believe it. And it's going through the countryside and everything that basically can go on trying to get to this award.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It happens.
It's so well.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the wheels fall off, the engine, the exhaust falls off.
And those characters he picks up.
It's just everything.
Like that woman on about the sherry glasses all the time.
I wouldn't have been surprised if it had got out of that car and smacked it around with a branch saying, "You start, you shit." And all of that sort of stuff, because it really is from that type of era of comedy.
It's just so easy to watch. It's great. It's a great
Clockwise,
film.
Believe it or not, is in my collection. It is a DVD.
Yeah.
I haven't got a Blu-ray of it.
Same with me.
I do have A Fish Called Wanda Blu-ray. I do not have Fierce Creatures as a Blu-ray, but I have it as a DVD.
Yeah.
Don't know why, because I didn't like it.
Yeah. No, I haven't got that. I've got A Fish Called Wanda.
Must have had a bad day, or I bought it for 50 pence a lot off eBay or something.
Yeah. Right.
Something happened.
Here we are. Question from Weeblebot. Lightsabers were a Star Wars introduction. Any other unique weapon?
Oh, Christ, tons.
You can think of.
You've got Krull, haven't you, with that spinny, that, which is that throwing sort of like head of an axe type thing that spins through the air. You got. When I say plenty, I'm not saying there's plenty. I'm just going. There's an instant one in Krull. You've got Tron with the discs of Tron, haven't you? With the throwing the discs.
Yeah.
Let's see. You've got the flying boomerang in Mad Max 2, which chops off the fingers, haven't you? We mentioned that the other week, and I got it wrong about who caught it. Trying to think.
I don't know whether you'd call it unique or even fantasy, but I remember at the time when Enter the Dragon came out, and the chain with the two sticks.
The nunchucks.
Well, it caused a lot of controversy at the time, and
I mean, you've got
quite unique at the time. It's funny because at school everybody was on about it, but because no one had seen the film, unless it was 18 certificate Enter the Dragon, as I remember. So no one had seen it, but we'd heard about all this. It became a bit of a media story, as a dangerous weapon. That's what I remember. That's the only.
I mean, you've got they're not really weapons, but you've got the capturing devices from Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
They're rather unique.
They're good. Yeah, that's a good one.
They're rather unique, aren't they?
Yeah.
Could you call the ghost trap a weapon? I don't.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I think that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
I used to like the weapons in Space 1999. They looked like knuckle dusters, didn't they? And they had the little light. They had the little lights go. They honestly look like knuckle dusters. But
I suppose if we go back to Star Trek, the phasers on Stun and what have you.
Oh yeah,
they're quite good, but they're really like a form of ray gun, aren't they? Going back to science fiction series.
they're iconic.
Earlier.
They're
But they're
iconic.
great, aren't they? You know, that you can kill on them, or you can set to stun, and they're easy. They're not very big either. You know, it's a great weapon.
It's not about the size.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of weapons in Men in Black.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all these weapons that they kept confiscating from the aliens, and yet and they put them in the rooms, and then old M would go into whatever it was, the room, and it'd have a little gun that was no bigger than that, but it was big. It was the biggest, most powerful weapon that you could ever have in the. You know, it was bigger than like a shoulder holster gun. And yeah, I love weapons. I mean, the photon torpedoes of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
You know, I love them all.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I did love the lightsabers. I really did like the lightsabers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if I was talking about Spaceballs, you could say the Schwartz. Yeah, I mean, the Schwartz, may the Schwartz be with you. It was a ring, and it basically, came up with a lightsaber and all of that sort of stuff. Which, by the way, I don't know what people's opinions are in regards to Spaceballs 2, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But Mel Brooks, what is he, 98 now?
He's doing another one, isn't he? Yeah.
Spaceballs 2.
Yeah. 98.
I think he's 98, I think.
Wow. Well, what can I say about that? 98. Wanted to make a film. Wow. Crazy.
He is. I still consider him probably the king of parody, just about.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does come out with some corniest stuff. I mean, everybody must know the 15 commandments. And he said, "I've brought the 15, the 10 commandments," because he drops one lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it is corny stuff, but
yeah.
I mean, I love High Anxiety.
High Anxiety is good. I like Anxiety.
That's a piss take of Hitchcock if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, great, absolutely great. That and Blazing Saddles will always be remembered.
Obviously the producers.
Yeah. The producers.
I mean,
I think Producers is one of my favorites. Actually, it's so unique.
How can you get away with a song called "Springtime"?
I know, and
I mean,
done
Jesus,
by this
man. It's like, how'd you get away with that?
Yeah.
If you listen to the words,
it's quite catchy. And you start singing it. I remember when I first heard it, I thought, "Oh, this is quite good." Musically, you start singing along to it.
Or is it don't be a blimp?
Time with Hitler in Germany.
Don't be a blimp. Be a smarty. Come and join the Nazi party. My God,
it's genius. It is genius. It's genius.
Because I think in Young Frankenstein, where they put it on the Ritz.
Oh,
it's because he tries to bring a musical number into anything, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that works as well as Springtime for Hitler.
Oh no,
Springtime for Hitler really works.
It's really pushing things there, isn't it?
And I'm not surprised it did well as a theatre production.
Yeah.
And
I like the old concept of the story, wanting this production to fail. That's what it was about on it.
Oversell a flop, and you will make millions.
Yeah, it was great film. It really was. Right. Jamie says, I personally didn't think Sinners lived up to the hype. No, I think it's fair enough. Some people, I think you might agree on that. Yeah.
I've said this to man before. It's where the hype comes from.
Yeah.
When we talk about hype, back in the 80s, hype for me was it was on every bloody advert on the front of every video that I was going to be renting for that month. See this at the cinema, right?
Yeah.
There would be film and 83. There'd be all the Sky film review stuff. There would be the Sky Arts stuff. There would be radio telling you what films that you needed to watch. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't not put a headset on and not listen to what films were going to be out this week, right?
Yeah.
How many shows are there? The Sky Arts and the Simon Mayo show. The rest of the hype comes from going to the cinema and seeing a trailer, or YouTube and seeing a trailer. And YouTube is the biggest seller of what films you're going to be watching. So the hype comes from YouTube.
Yeah. And YouTubers. I think YouTube add to that, yeah. As I said, I think a good example for me was Nosferatu. I heard nothing but Nosferatu, Nosferatu do that. And then when it comes down to it, I was disappointed. I just didn't understand why people rated this. But that had such a lot of people behind it. Obviously, it's the same for you with Sinners, Jamie. But Nosferatu was a good example to me of that. You're the best judge of what you like, and not to get caught in, other people's opinions. Just go and make your own opinion up, which you clearly have. That's what we should all do, and never be afraid to go against the grain. If there's a film that you like but nobody else seems to like, don't worry about it. Just say it. Just put it out there. You like it, and that's all that counts. It doesn't matter. Or the opposite, a film that everybody loves, and you think, well, I don't understand this at all. Why do you
tend to find that? I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
If you watch enough of YouTube reviews or enough channel shows, where they're talking about stuff. They sort of bend your will to like it if they really like it themselves, or bend your will to not like it if it's the other direction, especially if it's someone that's an influencer. Now, I'm not going to go down who's an influencer.
Yeah, but I agree.
I'm just turning around and saying I think that's quite true as well. I think the reason that something is hyped and a lot of people come out going, oh, I really liked it, because they didn't say not with all of the hype and everybody was saying how good it was and all of this sort of stuff. And then you see about 3 YouTube videos and they're all saying, oh, it's good. So you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to go on tonight onto a chat thing. I think I better say I like it as well. I don't want to.
Well, I think Nosferatu is that film because it's a film that is important in terms of history of the cinema and what have you, and therefore there's a feeling that you can't be critical about it, because it's an important film, and the remake is done as a labor of love by the director. Is it Eggers who did this? He loved the film, and he's done his labor of love, which is that film, and therefore sometimes people maybe don't really want to upset things and say, oh, this is terrible, this is a boring film. They don't want to say that because of what he's put and what it means. But you should be honest with yourself. If you're not enjoying a film or haven't enjoyed it on reflection, don't be afraid to say you didn't get on with it. Or as happens, sometimes give them another chance. I might well give this another chance and try it again and see.
But you know what? That to me is the reason why I love physical media so much, is that I can give any film I want a second chance.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
I suppose you could say the same for streaming, but I tend to find that with all the amount of stuff that you can stream, if I didn't like a film and it was in a list of other 30 or 40 films, I'd probably still go past it saying, I ain't going to give that another chance.
Yeah.
Well, where I might give it more of a chance if I've got it.
Yeah. And don't forget, what you liked as a person, say 20, 30 years ago, could be very different now. You as a person have changed from that with life's experiences and everything, and therefore you might see a film in a very different light now. So it's always worth going back. Always worth going back.
I forgot. Well, I didn't forget. I never got the chance.
Yeah.
I'll do this quickly. See? Ooh, it's eerie. The lights are on. So this finally turned up. Now, I don't know if I'm late to the party with this, but the Quatermass experiment turned up.
Oh yeah, that's.
Now, am I late to the party? Has this been out a while? Because they're heavily advertising the next Quatermass 2, and and this took an absolute age for me to get this. I don't know if I'm late to the party or not.
I wouldn't say terribly late. I mean, over last month, I've seen reviews of it by people reviewing it.
I mean, I ordered it day one.
Yeah, I think you've been unfortunate.
And I only got it this week.
Yeah, you've been unfortunate, I think, for some reason.
My swordfish turned up. The full.
Oh right, yeah, but I think the Quatermass one, you've just been unlucky. I think you've got yours later for whatever reason. Because some people have had it a bit, haven't they now, and have been doing the videos.
Well, that was the thing. I haven't worked out whether am I late, or is that about right? That it only did actually come out last week.
I wonder if they didn't have enough stock, the initial stock run, and you were unfortunate. It don't, and I suspect it doesn't matter when you've put in your pre-order.
Mine came direct from Hammer, the direct from the Hammer website.
From Hammer themselves. Well, maybe they've had a lot of people ordering, and they just haven't initially been able to fulfill it. You know, who knows? I don't know.
I mean, I've ordered. I mean, at one point I had this on order and the Quatermass experiment too on order, and I hadn't even got the first one back yet.
Yeah,
you know, I'm going,
And I don't. We both could get into a rant, but I bet there's people who've been scalping and putting are going to be starting putting them up. I won't be surprised if it's already sold out now, and they'll be up on eBay.
I mean, as soon as they said the Quatermass experiment, I went, "Oh, great! I want that."
Yeah. I hope they release. Will they release standard editions of these? I hope they do. I hope they release a standard edition. They should do. I think.
You know, I don't think it would be a bad thing for them to do that. It would be nice that they do a.
I think they should.
For the people that didn't want the deluxe one,
because it's quite expensive, isn't it? It's 50 quid.
50 quid, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah.
And not everybody wants that sort of deluxe treatment. Yeah, like you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, sci-fi. There was a question about exploding bodies. The bodies in Rambo 2009 explode too easily when they get shot. Yeah.
Rambo 2008.
Oh right. Now watched a couple of Sean Connery films. Frightened City. Yeah, I've seen that one. Very good. And The Offense. Now that's one that's talked about, but I've never seen. It's supposed to be one of Connery's best performances, as I remember, in The Offense. Hard hitting, literally, as a suspect is concerned. Yeah. Quite controversial, I think, as well.
Oh, is that the one where he's a police officer and he basically beats the shit out of him while he's interviewing?
It's a sex offender, is it, or something?
Yeah, that's right.
It was.
I like that film. Yeah, that's a great film.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Sean Connery films that, I mean, even this week on Film 4 they were showing Robin and Marion.
Oh yeah.
They sometimes show Zardoz.
Yes.
They don't show it very often.
Yeah.
And we're a big fan, aren't we, of the one set on a miners in near Saturn. What's it called? It's a bit like High Noon in space.
Outland.
Outland.
Yeah.
I mean, Outland to me is a shiny gem that I think everybody should watch.
I could easily put that possibly in my top 10 all-time sci-fi films.
Yeah, I think I would as well.
It's a top 10. I think it's so good.
I am very close to you in thinking, do you know what? It should be. If it's not, it should be.
Yeah.
It's very much like a 2001 realism film. It's not like lasers and like watching James Bond Moonraker, and you've got bloody people firing laser guns in the 80s in space, right?
Yeah.
It's very much. It's almost like he's got a shotgun in his hand outside in space, firing things.
Yeah.
It's that sort of like believability. You haven't done everything. Doesn't have to be a blue light shining at somebody as it hits them in the chest or something.
He's a married man, isn't it? He's a married man who wants to get back with his wife.
Oh, his wife leaves him.
It's got that one. It's got that realism. It's got a deep realism to it, and it works.
In fact, that's one of the things at the end of the film that people question. Did he actually get back home? Because his wife leaves him. And she says, it's not safe here. I'm taking the kids.
That's right. Yes.
And he basically sorts out out what's going on and says, I'm catching the next flight back home.
Yeah. And
it's left. He actually ever does.
Yeah. You always hope.
We always hope he did.
Yeah, but we don't know. We never know, do we?
Which is quite a nice ending, really, because you've got a. I wonder if he ever did get home to his wife. It'd be really nice. But you know that he had that sort of bad luck because he had 3 things bad happen to him as soon as he landed, wasn't it? It was like he was in the middle of this. There's a corrupt this going on. His wife's leaving him. It's almost like how many more bad things can happen, and then he turns things around, sort of. And then you don't know whether he actually has a happy ending or not because he sends a message, but he never knows whether that got received or not. No.
Yeah, that's true. It's a great film. Anybody who's not seen it, I would highly recommend that film. Sean Connery, Outland. Brilliant film. I think it's
the best place to get it is the HMV premiere.
Yes, right. Yes, it's on the HMV one. But it's a great film. It's rooted in realism, which I think it's a good
sort of like today's physics, but in the future. You know.
Yeah, I mean? It's really good. Yeah. And don't you think that those scary scenes, aren't there, when the people go out onto into space without their suits on. Wow, that is so, and they explode. It's just.
I tell you what, thinking about Sean Connery for a moment, I couldn't move last week for videos of people that are opening up the Steelbook editions of the 007 Sean Connery film, right?
Yeah, that's
Every
right.
Every time I opened up my YouTube, it said another person was opening the Steelbook editions of
and everybody complaining about it.
But I tell you what, everyone is talking about. It's all about. I'm not impressed with the packaging. Nobody talks about the quality of the films.
Oh,
Can one of you guys please tell me, is the quality of the film all right? Because I know you spent 99 quid, right?
Yeah.
And you want the packaging to be perfect, right? But has actually any of you actually put the disc in a player yet and played it?
Yeah.
Because none of you have talked about it yet. And all I keep seeing is a picture of bloody James Bond on a beach or something going, oh, look, that's uninspiring.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think a lot of people like me, older gits, really think James Bond is the best. Sean Connery is the best James Bond. But a lot of people are Roger Moore lovers, aren't they? They're going to be. Roger Moore. Not that I don't like Roger Moore. I think Roger Moore was brilliant in the role, absolutely brilliant. But you're going to get more people who are going to be if they do a Roger Moore set of Bond films, are going to be absolutely
I just go
ecstatic.
I just go back to my original answer with anything to do with James Bond. It's probably the one you grew up with.
Yeah, exactly.
I was born late 60s. That meant that when I was watching Bond, it was 70s and
Yeah,
golf. Who was
yeah.
in the role of that at that
Of
particular
course,
time?
Roger Moore. Yeah,
Roger Moore.
yeah,
Did I know of Sean Connery? Yes.
yeah,
Had I watched any Sean Connery? Yes, on bank holidays on TV.
yeah.
Never at the cinema. I never saw one Sean Connery 007 film at the cinema until later on in my life.
Oh dear.
So
Oh,
everything was the pan and remember this also, it was the pan and scan versions that were on TV, no letterbox or
yeah,
any of this sort of stuff. So I was watching the tightness of a camera angle of James Bond, where I was going to the cinema and watching the Roger Moore wide
yeah,
ones with all of the Expanse and the Lotus car and all going underwater and all of that sort of stuff.
yeah,
So Sean Connery really didn't have a chance.
yeah. It's interesting.
When you're a kid, it's all about the stunts. You're not
Yeah,
following
you
the
see,
story. The story is not. The story makes no sense.
yeah,
You know,
the
you're just
first
going.
film I saw, and I still think it's my favourite, is You Only Live
Doctor No, I
Twice.
suppose.
So
You
it was
only live
bound
twice,
to
right?
make an impression. And then the one after that was On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the Lazenby one. And
The
again, I
70s,
think
yeah.
that's one of the great ones. So I always feel I'm lucky for me, but it's going to be different that I saw two absolutely superb films, archetypal James Bond films. But
Yeah.
I accept if I'd have been in the 80s, I'd have been going, "Oh, The Spy Who Loved Me" and all that.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's what
It's
era you've come from.
you see, for me, I was watching James Bond at the cinema at the same time as I was watching TV, but
Yeah,
I was watching Roger Moore at the cinema and Sean Connery on TV, and TV was not widescreen, so it was the
no,
tightness of the shot, right? And
yeah,
I was a kid. I remember my age would have meant I was looking for all action, not story, right? Stories
yeah,
didn't mean anything to me in both at the cinema and on telly
yeah,
when I was 10 or 11 years old.
yeah,
I didn't understand what the hell I was really
yeah,
watching, right? Who gives a shit? Oh, there's a Russian submarine. All right, right. Sod that. I want to see all of the people coming down on ropes and shooting people. That's
yeah,
what I want to see. The big ending, you know?
yeah,
So it's later on that you appreciate, therefore, Sean Connery, especially when you suddenly saw widescreen versions of them on your home cinema. And then even later on, when they pass by the 40th anniversary of stuff and that,
yeah.
they suddenly start showing Doctor No at the cinema, which they did do. They did do a Doctor
Yeah, they
No,
did. I saw them at the cinema as well. Yeah,
and then you go, "Oh wow, look at
yeah,
this!"
yeah,
Now I can think now I can imagine what it was like my mum and dad going to the pictures,
yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Because that's what we're talking about. My mum and dad would have been going to see this before I was born.
Yeah,
Going dating would have been watching this film,
yeah,
and then I go, "Wow, that really is impressive." Right? Because I can put my head in what I think my parents would have been watching. Because I'm an older person now.
yeah,
Would have appreciated it at 10 or 11.
yeah,
So the other thing about Roger Moore is that we were sort of like in the luxury boom for him because there was the Persuaders and there was the Saint. So we were seeing him in similar roles. It made perfect sense that he was going to be a Bond at some point. He had that sort of like smart, debonair, not plumbing mouth, but not know-it-all smugness
yeah, yeah,
that I think
yeah,
you've got to be Bond. And that's what
yeah,
I think is missing from Daniel Craig. He's not like a know-it-all smugness. He seems to pick up a gun and he fires it, but it's not like Roger Moore would have turned around and said, "Oh yeah, that's a Hammond 66 with a kickback." right? He would have told you everything about it. I don't believe that Daniel Craig would have done that. He doesn't give a shit. He just picks up a gun, fires it, and that's what it's there. It's a killing machine. Roger Moore was more about, oh yeah, I can tell you everything about a Fabergé egg. I can tell you everything about the Conram system or something, of the missile guidance system of a NORAD rocket and all of that sort of stuff. Daniel Craig doesn't look like he's got the ability to tell you the all of that sort of like goings on, you know. That's why The Spy Who Loved Me works so well, with the talking to death of the Russian and them working together. And he's going, oh, I've got these pictures. That's definitely taken a picture of that symbol. There is a symbol of, I don't know, NORAD or whatever it is, and then they zoom in a bit more. Oh no, that's the Russian factory where they make this and that, and the other, and they're all trying to outplay each other, aren't they, as agents? Do you know what I mean? There's none of that play acting in a Daniel Craig.
No, there's none. I mean, for me, the magic of why I still love For You Only Live Twice, it's got all the elements you want in a Bond film. It's got the glamorous locations. It's got the beautiful women. It's got the villain inside a volcano. The base is in this volcano, and it's Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance playing Blofeld.
Well, you got to have Donald Pleasance as Blofeld, ain't you?
Just absolutely wonderful. And the scenes when the volcano is opening up and they're coming down, and it's brilliant.
I'm going to let you reminisce on that while I just go and check my mum's.
I'll carry on anyhow.
Right. I'll be 5-10 minutes.
Right, I'll carry on then. Right. Sandra Clark says, oddball question for you. Which colour films do you think would actually look better if they had filmed them in black and white? Well, that's an interesting question. I'm thinking the Hitchcock films, actually. Some of the color Hitchcock films, I think, would look really good in black and white still. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. The one that I really like, which is I'm just trying to think which one, what it's called. It's on my brain. It's the one about a serial killer. It's probably in early 70s. I've mentioned it before. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And I get exactly where you're coming from on this question.
I'm still here. Is it Frenzy?
Actually, I'm just looking at the film.
Is it Frenzy? Is it Frenzy?
Frenzy. That's it. Yes, Frenzy. Now that one, I could see that one in black and white. Definitely. It's a film I think that would fit that perfectly. Yeah, if you changed all these color ones, that would definitely, I think, fit in that. Definitely, I think it wouldn't be any problem at all. Friends in 1972. The other ones I'm trying to think of. Was Torn Curtain in colour? I think Torn Curtain could have been in colour. That's one with Paul Newman and is it Julie Andrews? I think in that one. Yeah, I would say that one definitely. In fact, I think you could put them all. Yes, I mean, obviously, I'm looking at a film like North by Northwest, which you have to look at as one of the great films. That does look so good in color. Absolutely fantastic. And that one is a case where maybe I would think, in its form, it is. I don't think it could be bettered. I think it was in black and white. It may not be as good. I don't know how to say that. It's because I do love the film such a lot, and to me it looks perfect, and it's one of those that really does look good, and I think it's suited to color, definitely suited. Trying to think of other ones. The Birds, maybe. Is the Birds in color?
The Birds is in color. It should, and as
Yeah,
far as I'm concerned, that would be better in black and white because the
yeah. I
color,
was just thinking that. I think
because
yeah, you could put the
the
Birds.
color doesn't show off the special effects very well. They look blown out and low res. If you
So
see
you
what I mean.
think it would be better? Yeah, I agree. Actually, the more I think about it, yeah, I definitely agree with
North
that.
by Northwest and Vertigo, they would equally look as good in black and white because they're more about the pace of the film is a whodunit crime drama,
Yeah,
and it's all about light and shadow because you're sort of like, I mean, especially with North by Northwest, because he needs to hide himself. He's in the papers, his face is blown up, he needs to sort of like stay in the shadows because he's a wanted man for killing.
yes, yeah,
So when you talk, you see, I've always turned around and said this: Twilight Zone, my favorite TV show of all time,
yes,
is works better as black and white because it's a light and shadow moment when you're watching anything, right? And I've always think that when you're talking about light and shadow, black and white works. Look at The Lighthouse. It would not look right in color. It would look like
yeah,
the color drama that was there. In black and white, it's got a whole new audience,
yes, yeah. It's a good
right?
point.
And people who don't want to see black and white films, I've never understood these people. But I've always turned around and said, each your own,
Yeah,
right? Your own. I think you're missing out if you're turning around and saying, "Oh, I can't watch a black and white film." If you give it a chance and you saw a particular sort of like genre, say like a film noir or something in black and
yeah.
white,
Oh,
you'd
you
see
got it.
why
Yeah,
it works. You would see why it
yes,
works.
yeah,
I think
definitely.
war films look sometimes better in black and white, probably
Yeah,
because you know it's just the grittiness of it,
yeah,
and the fact that the explosions look like really explosive is any other word
yeah,
for it in black and white.
yeah,
There's debris going everywhere. You put color to that, you see the flames and everything, but at the end of the day, you're seeing scorch marks, which you can see. They sort of look like they've been painted.
mm,
In black and white, you get away with it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yes,
I think most Hitchcock films could if you turn the color down, you could watch it and go
yeah,
that you could equally watch it in black and white as you would color, which is
yeah,
why Friends, you mentioned Frenzy, and or should I say I mentioned it, but
yeah,
Frenzy, if you turn it to black and white, it equally works because
yeah,
it doesn't require color to make
yeah.
it enrichment to the film. It's all about the
Yeah,
story and the setting
yeah.
and the
It,
pace.
I'll
It's
tell you what. Yeah,
the old school way of doing cinema,
I
really.
think something like the Jack the Ripper stories work better in black
Black
and
and
white.
white.
They have that element with it, the Victorian sort of foggy sort of London streets of London, Whitechapel. it works so well in black and white, doesn't it? I know there has been color versions of it, but
Yeah.
that you just get the atmosphere, that feeling, the foggy sort of thing, which black and white brings out perfectly. You don't get that in color, do you? You don't get that in the same way, that fogginess, which is brilliant. So
look at those early color science fiction films where you saw the flame coming out the rocket at the back, right? Which looks so bad because the rocket you can see is on strings and the flame. You've got a fire stuck out the back of it, right, with the flames coming out of it, right? And in black and white, you get away with it because think about it. Flash Gordon, the serials and stuff, was all about that smoke coming out of the back. You didn't give it a second glance that it was a smoke. It's all right. You colorize those and it's shit. You know what I mean? It's awful. Absolutely awful. Works in black and white. Shit in color.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Tony says, is that Rambo set in Burma side? The scene at the end when he gets hold of the machine gun is crazy. I don't know.
It's in Burma, I think.
Yeah.
That's the one where he's going back and forth along the riverbank. He's trying to pick them back up, isn't he, from where he dropped them off from. He didn't want that girl to go because he didn't think that they'd survive. And you see all of the war that's going on, and you see these people crossing a river, and they're shooting them off one by one as they're going across the marshy sort of like, because it's like, look, we're going to let you go, but by the way, we're going to be firing at you. You never know, you might get to the other side, but if you do, you're free. But if you don't, you're firing practice for us. Talk about war crimes. It's a good film from that perspective because I'll tell you what, I mentioned in my blog that at the moment with the Ukraine-Russia war, there's one Russian that's actually up in court at the moment for crimes of war.
Yeah,
and it's the first in existence, and he's the person that killed people that were prisoners of war. They had their rights under certain laws that said if you're captured, you are humanitarians to them. They played Russian roulette with them and killed them. It doesn't really matter. He's got a code name, the Penguin or something. So shoot him and all of this sort of stuff. This is the sort of thing that goes on, and that's why there's that Michael J. Fox film, isn't it? What was it? Was it called?
The 4th of July one.
No, the one that was set where it was Crimes of something or other. It had Sean Penn in it.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's the Born on the 4th of July because that's the one where the village that he can't. They do an atrocity on this village, don't they, with all the women?
Yeah, I thought it was called Crime.
I think it's Born on the 4th of July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
it was called something. I thought it was called something else.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, and Sean Penn. Yeah. Because he's the one with the conscience.
Yeah, there we are. Casualties of War.
Casualties of War. He's got this conscience, hasn't he? Which the other people.
And that film is not talked about much.
Yeah.
Casualties of War. I remember when that came out as a film to rent. I watched that and I went, "This is hard to watch." Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a powerful drama. And then it sort of goes into obscurity because people start talking about Saving Private Ryan and all the other big war films. And Casualties of War is one of it doesn't even get mentioned when you're talking about Platoon and all of those sort of films, which always get mentioned. And Casualties of War, does it get mentioned? Hardly ever. I've got it.
Yeah,
I know I've got it. Do you know what? I think that's another one I've got on DVD and not Blu-ray.
Yeah,
and talk about it more. That one really was a highlight for me that year. Watching that film, I remember seeing it and being moved by it. I went, "Wow!"
Yeah. It's a powerful film. I think Platoon probably gets more because it's a Kubrick film, isn't it? So Stanley Kubrick. They always gets a lot more
I
attention.
wasn't a big fan of Gary Oldman Dracula.
No,
Only
I
seen,
wasn't. I
I think
I
Delboy
don't
is
like
the,
it. Yeah,
no, actually,
yeah.
the greatest honor I've given Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is the full title, is that it wasn't as bad as what people were saying.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't stand Keanu Reeves in it.
Oh yeah, it's not
Right?
very good.
I think in some ways it's over sexualized, even though Dracula is supposed to be a seductive type character.
Yeah,
All of that naked people all over Keanu Reeves in bed and all of this sort of
yeah,
stuff was
yeah.
over the top.
It doesn't work. No.
Then I liked the scenes when they're sort of like traversing Transylvania. I thought it was quite well done. It's almost like that I did believe that they were going across the terrain, and they did it sort of like Indiana Jones-ish with
Mm.
the map and seeing them going across and all of this sort of stuff. I
Yeah.
thought that was all very well done. But I always never really understood why he came to England, Dracula. Does the book explain why he came to
Well, I
England?
thought he went because he, for some reason, he was attracted to the wife of
That's right. Yeah.
what's his name? The one who's telling the story
Yeah.
effectively.
The
Uh,
wife of Uh,
it's his
um,
wife. Yeah.
but it's just that every film then has to have Dracula in England.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, without actually telling the tale of why he's actually there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, he comes from Romania and all, like Transylvania and all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Hammer one started off by showing those, and then they were all in swinging London
Yeah, I love where Hammer. The great thing I always go on about Hammer, but the great thing about Hammer is they all did like different interpretations of these characters. Right? Frankenstein. There were so many of the stories that they told, and it was the same with the Dracula films. They always were able to tell another version of the story, and absolutely superb. And they were
another
lucky.
view.
They were
But
lucky that they had Peter Cushing.
it is about somebody that wants
Lee.
to bring life back from
Yeah,
lifelessness.
exactly. Frankenstein. I mean, you'd think, well, what? How can you keep doing the same story? But it isn't the same story. It's variations on it, which they do, and they make. And the great thing about Peter Cushing, he could play the Baron so many different ways. He was brilliant. He could make him a weak man. He could make him a strong man. He could just do all sorts to him. An evil Frankenstein, and then a Frankenstein who was just misguided and had this vision of what he was doing was going to be beneficial to mankind. And there's all these different elements which they brought in to the versions of Frankenstein.
Yeah, the black and white films didn't go far enough into showing that really it was Baron Frankenstein that was the baddie, really.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
it's always like the monster's going around killing things.
The monster's quite innocent, really.
The monster is innocent. It's Baron Frankenstein that brought him back to life.
Yes, yeah. That's what makes the Frankenstein so powerful. The monster is that he's an innocent monster who becomes a monster from how other people see him. He's totally misunderstood, and like that. When a little girl has accident and drowns and what have you, it's all a misunderstood thing, and they, of course, help create the monster, and the films followed on.
I think one of the Dracula stories that people I think have watched now, but there was about 5 years ago when I was talking about it to some friends at work. I said, "Do you remember seeing the Trevor Eve Dracula, the one that was set in 1970s? That he eventually played Shoestring. He was in a Dracula film." I said, and I said that one is very close to the the Dracula that comes to England on a boat and all of that sort of And it's just that what I was trying to get at is that there seemed to be a glut of films from when I was susceptible to watching horror films, where Dracula was in England for no reason whatsoever. I couldn't understand why he was in England. Right? It's like Dracula, and he's in London, and it's the swinging 60s, and all of this sort of stuff. I'm going, what? It's like, I mean, we've read the book, we know why he came to England in those stories. We know as well about the reason Dracula is Dracula. It's a love story, as well. But what's all this swinging 60s shit?
I don't. They must have thought, but Hammer wanted to sort of try and bring a bit more, I suppose you could say, sex into Dracula.
Yeah,
the swinging 60s was perfect to do that. They could show a few.
But where the other Dracula films were, this one continues from where he was in the water, and he fell in the water, and
you always get that. Yeah,
all of a sudden we're seeing it in modern day, and I'm going, what is Dracula doing in modern day? And then you've got a glut of them like Blackula with Donna with what's his name, David Niven.
Oh yeah, David Niven.
And they're all taking the piss out.
They're all comedy kind of things. Yeah.
And I just think that was an era where it was watered down a bit. Dracula. It's where Dracula wasn't a horror character anymore. It's more of ridicule. It wasn't a character that scared you at all. It was so watered down. It was nothing. I'm not surprised that other vampire films that came along that didn't include Dracula was more successful, because Dracula was a jokey character, a character that your kids dressed up in Halloween and did. That was around it. There's nothing scary about him anymore, which is why I think also probably that Bram Stoker's Dracula didn't work, because you're not scared of the character anymore. The name Dracula, that's supposed to fear dread just by mentioning his name. My God, Dracula! Oh my God, how could you be talking about this character? You'd laugh. No, you go, Dracula. That's the Alucard bloke, isn't it?
The problem for Hammer was that they felt they had to keep up with what was happening in the modern horror films, and Rosemary's Baby came along in about 1968, I think, something like that, and it changed a lot of ideas about horror films, putting them in the modern world. And Hammer,
maybe they were flogging a dead horse, though, Ian. They shouldn't have just had Dracula, and it should have just been vampire films.
They did try and look at other things, but it never worked, unfortunately, for them. It was too late by then.
Hammer did bring out vampire films, didn't they? They did the circus one, didn't they?
And there's things like
Vampire Circus.
They got Ingrid Pitt involved in some Dracula in vampire films.
Bathing in blood and all that sort of stuff.
I like Countess Dracula, was quite good. It's a good fun film, but again, it wasn't enough. It just unfortunately wasn't enough. But they still got a big place in history, as we know now, because people are suddenly discovering Hammer, and they were what we were brought up with. I was brought up with Hammer, and all these people.
I want the original Dracula in that deluxe packaging. When's that
It'll come out.
When's that coming out, Hammer? Come on, let's start getting that out.
Yeah, they will. They'll bring them all out. It's a series that there's so many great films about to do it. So we've got let's see what we've got. He's saying Tony. Only seen Fierce Creatures on TV too. Didn't find it very funny. I think that's probably spot on there. It's not really. Clockwise is on Blu-ray, has a few extras, including an interview with John Cleese. All right, I ain't got it on Blu-ray, but yeah.
I'm sure that'll be in a Royal Mail package coming to Ian very, very soon. I should think, probably in the next month.
The pulse rifle in Aliens is one of my favorite movie weapons.
Yeah.
And what about phasers in Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Yes, yeah, of course. Weeble, I did love nunchucks, and as a fan of what was TMT?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah, I don't know much about that. I loved all the ninja weapons. I felt like the coolest things in the world back in the 80s and early 90s. Yeah. There's a lot of love for those turtles.
I mean, I could turn around and
yeah.
say web shooters on Spider-Man, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's a weapon,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Who lost their minds with Spaceballs 2 announcement? I know that I did. Yeah.
If it's done in the same way as Spaceballs, I'm all for it. It's just that, I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard all the jokes, you know, the search for more money and
Yeah.
all this sort of stuff, the search for Spaceballs.
Yeah.
I've heard them all. It's just that he is older now.
A bit old, a lot older, yeah.
I don't know whether you can parody such the later Star Wars films, because they were bloody awful in the first place. The Spaceballs worked on a certain level because we all loved Star Wars back then. There wasn't enough.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of Star Wars product. You
Yeah.
know, it took till 1999 for them to be a prequel to the first 3 films, and Spaceballs came out before those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a laugh riot. I don't know why Barry Norman hated it so much. He thought it was awful. He said, if you want to see a parody, go and see High Anxiety, go and see Young Frankenstein, all of that. This Spaceballs is just shockingly bad. And he also said the same about Robin Hood Men in Tights. But
Yeah.
I think he was quite right about that one. But Spaceballs, I thought was funny. You know, we're going to jam the signal, and there's a bloody great big jar of jam hit the radar thing. You know, and then there's the Darth helmet with his breathing, and he's going, I can't breathe in this thing. Like this. That's funny. You know, and then there's the bit where they're actually showing a part of the film where you've got caught up, and they're showing Spaceballs on the screen while they're actually saying what's going on, and that's incredibly sharp and funny.
Yeah.
But can you do that with The Force Awakens and all of that? The jokes that are going to come out for that film, Spaceballs 2?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I think
most
what
of
you could do
most
with
of the jokes will probably be about Star Trek rather than Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Do you think they wouldn't then include like parodies of the Matrix or things like that?
Well, then it's not really Spaceballs, is it?
Yeah.
Spaceballs is supposed to be.
It's got to be more about that. Yeah. I'm surprised actually Matrix haven't been parodied more. I'm certainly a lot.
Like I said, I find it a great shame that Mel Brooks hasn't done more film work in the last 25 years, because there's been a shitload of IPs that you could actually parody. Yeah. He stopped with Dracula Dead and Loving It, didn't he? I mean,
yeah. Right. Tony says here, the Doctor's sonic screwdriver could be dangerous.
Wasn't supposed to be, though.
Yeah, I like the way they took it off him, because it became that the sonic screwdriver seemed to do everything, every situation he was in. And it was a good thing when they removed it, I thought, because it just became, it did everything, didn't it? If somebody was ill, just check them. Oh, yeah, it does this. And
even classic Doctor Who recognised that the sonic screwdriver was being used too much.
Yeah.
They destroyed it with Peter Davison's era.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, damn, I can't do anything with this. It's a wooden door.
Yeah.
What can I do with it? My sonic screwdriver's useless. What am I going to do?"
Yeah,
then when he got shot, he went, "I feel like I've lost a friend." Because he was always using it, right?
Yeah.
And it was being used too much.
Yeah, it was. And of course,
it was a jail card far too often. But all of this stuff that was in the new Doctor Who, you know, like spinning it around and using it.
Well, they brought it in straight away, innit? It's the first thing he had in 2005.
I mean, how many times did the doctor use the sonic screwdriver to wave at someone and say, yeah, you got cancer?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it never used to be a medical tool. It was supposed to be a screwdriver, right? It's supposed to be a tool, right?
Yeah.
When the hell did it turn into something where you could actually tell if someone's got cancer or not by pointing
and you might be able to cure them. Oh, I can cure that for you. Yeah, there you are.
You know what I mean? Yeah. This is where I think lazy writing of the new modern era is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure how I can get the doctor out of this. I know he's got a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, there we are.
And then later on, it doesn't even look like a screwdriver from Jodie Whittaker's era. It was a set of spoons or something, and then it was a pebble or something, some sort of key ring.
Yeah, I think the one that Shooty character's got is it's almost like a.
Well, it's like a key ring
thing.
It's key ring. Yeah, looks like a pebble key ring.
Yeah. Right, we've got Sai saying, also, did you know that the original title for Spaceballs 2 was going to be Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2?
I mentioned that one. It was also going to be called Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, because that's a play on The Search for Spock.
Yeah.
There's been a ton of them over the years. I think that one's quite clever, Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2.
Yeah.
A lot of titles have been dumbed down for the American audience over the years. Do you remember that famous one, the James Bond one, License to Kill?
Oh, yeah.
Because originally it was called License Revoked.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because James Bond loses his license to kill. It's license revoked, right? But they dumbed it down by saying the Americans don't understand what revoked means.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They changed it to license to kill. And I'm going, license to kill doesn't even make sense because he's lost his license, right? He ain't got a license. That's the whole bloody point. License to kill nonsense. Right? These are things that have changed over the years because they reckon that in certain countries that doesn't make sense as a title. So if you've got the amount of times that somebody turned around and said you can't have this because if there's a number set like Saturn 7, the Americans will think, where was Saturn 1 to 6? You know, the amount of times that joke's been made, that's why Naked Gun 33 1/3's there. You know what I mean? And Naked Gun 2 1/2. And because people would go, where's the other 2 and a bit films? You know what I mean? It's like, because it's supposed to be a sequence of films.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they won't understand. They'll be questioning, where's the other 30 films, or whatever it is, No, it's just a title. So that makes sense, the Spaceballs 3, because it'd be, there were the Spaceballs 2. What happened? That's quite a good. I'd like that to be actually true,
Right. Oh, what have we got here? Oh, Jamie's got a question here. Favorite Vincent Price film?
Theatre of Blood.
Yeah, I would say that, but I'd say Mask of the Red Death.
Well, I'm going to go Theatre of Blood. Second is the 2 Dr. Fives, and third is Witchfinder General.
Oh yeah. Mask of the Red Death, Witchfinder General. I would definitely put. I'd put them above Dr. Fives films, actually.
I do like the Corman Poe films.
Yeah.
It's just that I remember seeing as a kid the Fives films late at night, and they sort of stuck with me.
Yeah.
Theatre of Blood. I have spoken to a number of people, and some people who hate the film, and I do understand it.
How can they hate it?
But I do have to turn around and say, look, if you do read the synopsis of this film, it is about an actor that is over the top, who just plays Shakespeare
characters.
And if you don't like Shakespeare, you're not going to like this film, because every single death is based on Shakespeare's deaths in his plays. and therefore you're just not gonna like it.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that, the deaths are really quite good. I mean, it still sticks with me. Feeding poodles to that fat bloke, he's actually
Yeah.
fed. He put all his poodles in a pie and forced it down his
Yeah.
throat. Seeing Captain Mannering with his head being sawn off while his wife's in the bed next to him. And of course you like it because Diana Riggs in it.
Yeah, Diana Riggs. She's the person doing all these things as well, isn't she? She's very much involved in it. She's great. I think a reason I like Mask of the Red Death is because it's based a lot on what history would be. That the idea of the plague and these people, the ruling classes, the nobility, they'd want to be safe from it. And the idea that he's got this place where they're all safe is great. And the way he's an evil character and there's no compassion for anybody, it's a great performance.
Yeah.
And because you've got to love the ending as well when it all comes at the end.
And I mean, even when Vincent Price has just been in so many good films, it's just hard to.
I mean, who cannot like?
For me, for years and years and years, I was scared to death watching The Fly.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
The original Fly. The reason for it is not because of Vincent Price, is because there's a bloody great big fly in a web with a human head and a bloody great big spider just about to eat him.
Yeah.
And because the fly is so small, the voice is going, "Help me!"
Yeah, I know, you never forget that.
And that noise, that high pitched voice, and the spider's just about to come along and eat him, and he's going.
I know. Yeah. What can you say?
I as a kid, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I remember it well. Yeah, but I think what sets Vincent Price, why it's his voice.
Yeah, he's got that voice, like Tom Baker, isn't it? Tom Baker had the voice, didn't he?
It's just brilliant. Vincent Price, you hear him, and you can't help but be drawn to him because his voice, whatever character he plays, he can play evil characters, he can play good characters. He can. Yeah. He's just so good. I think he's a great actor, Vincent Price.
But I just want to say, I do understand people who don't like Theatre of Blood. I do get it. It is shockingly strong on Shakespeare.
And I love I love Shakespeare, and it's brilliant.
It's shockingly strong on it.
Yeah, and that's
but at the end of the day, that's what it's supposed to be, and that's why I like it probably so much.
He's brilliant. I mean, you can imagine.
And I saw that film, and I questioned. Is all Shakespeare so dark then? It's all about murders. Is that what
there is a lot?
Remember when I saw that film, I was something like 8 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Shakespeare is. I haven't got to Shakespeare at school yet. Christ, we're still reading Danny the Champion of the World, Willy Wonka and his chocolate factory at school. We're not reading Macbeth.
Oh right? Yeah.
So of course, the inquisitive me is going, I can't wait to read these.
Yeah.
Right, what? Somebody cutting out somebody's heart, and it's actually an exact pound of flesh, and I'm going, is that how much a heart weighs? Is a heart actually, does it actually weigh a pound? I don't know. These are all the questions that were going through my head, and that's just by watching this film.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's me, but like I said, I'm not poo-pooing anybody that goes, it's a bag of shit. Because I can understand it as well. It is a bag of shit if you don't like Shakespeare. I mean, it's a nothing film. But to me, it has one of the most loveliest music scores you're ever going to come across in your life. It's a gorgeous music score. I think it's Michael J. Lewis. Actually, hang on, Michael J. Lewis. Yeah. Hang on. Michael J. Lewis. I think I've shown this before. I don't know though. So there it is. Look, Theatre of Blood.
Yeah.
Michael J. Lewis. And if I remember rightly, yeah, look at that. It says there, I don't know if you can read it, but it says it's a limited edition, limited edition of 1,200 units. So they only made 1,200 of this CD.
Yeah.
So fat chance, guys, of you getting it, you bastards. I've got it. I don't feel bad about that one bit. You all mock me. You know I'm a stubborn softy and all that shit. Yeah, so there you are. Carry on.
Yeah, I say I understand that Shakespeare isn't for everybody. I think because they can't get past the language, the way it's written. But if you are into that, then Shakespeare, you can easily see is why he's considered one of the greatest writers.
Well, even his last film, Edward Scissorhand, is dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Vincent Price, and I love Shakespeare still. I think Shakespeare tells some great stories. Absolutely love Shakespeare. Absolutely. And let's see. So, hey, did you know 28 years later is the first part of a planned trilogy? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's not, is it?
Yeah.
What is it going to be? What, 20? Is the last one 28 centuries later? What the
I don't know.
Be about?
That's it again. And then Si says, really? And he says, yep. And with regard Vincent Price, Witchfinder General takes some beating from me. It does. It's a brilliant film, Witchfinder General. And of course, based on an historical figure, Matthew Hopkins. I won't go into one of my history lectures. Second part has already been filmed and comes out in January. Oh, crikey. They've already got it in the can.
What? Well, is it 28 years later and then it's 28 hours after the 28 years later? And then it's... Well, where are you going with this? Like 28 centuries later,
28 years later, and 28 seconds later.
28 seconds past the 28 years later. Where are you going with this, Danny Boyle? Was it?
Yeah. And he says, "Dear Lord, no."
I don't think a trilogy is the right.
And Theatre of Blood is probably second in my opinion. All right, yeah, it's Vincent Price. I think I'd go with Otto Preminger's Laura. Great film. I don't know that one. Sorry.
He's being clever now, bastard.
Yeah. All these films.
No, I have heard of a film called Laura.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. The early reviews for
Formula One,
F1 are fairly positive. I'm going next Wednesday to watch it on IMAX. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's January. It's June 25th. It's got Brad Pitt in it. It's called the F1 movie. I'm hoping it's good. I thought it might be absolutely atrocious. Have you ever seen certain Formula One films apart from the James Hunt film that what's his name? Who was in Happy Days? What's his name? Director who did Cocoon.
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know his name.
Played Cunningham, didn't he? What's his bloody? My brain.
My brain. My names.
Right, hang on. Cocoon's director is.
Oh yeah.
Ron Howard.
That's it. Ron Howard. He's done loads of films. Yeah.
Ron Howard, I believe, did the James Hunt, film. The most exciting season probably in Formula One history, where James Hunt won the actual world championship that year. But of course, there was awful crashes and stuff going on in that film. In that season.
Yeah.
This Formula One is, I think it's supposed to be a story. I'm not sure, but Formula One is not what it used to be. I've been watching it this season, and I'm still a Formula One fan, but it's become a bit easy to predict, to work out who's going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, but how many Formula One films have we seen? There was one that, with Sylvester Stallone in, that was bloody awful. You've had ones in the past with Elvis as a race driver and all sorts of stuff, right, around Formula One and racing and all that sort of stuff, and they've all been bloody awful, right? I'm hoping this one is a good film. I really am. When you consider just how beautiful a Formula One car looks and the impression of speed when you're actually in one, you'd think it'd be the perfect thing to do a film on. Right, but no, they've all been shit, most of them. So anyway, I'm hoping you have a great time, Si. You'll have to tell me whether it's good. I've really got my fingers crossed on this one because I like Formula One.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Formula One. Don't do out for me. And my dad, he loved it, but he didn't pass it on to me. I've never seen that, Jimmy. Have you ever watched Premier's He's the director of Premier. Yeah, Bunny Lake is Missing. Yeah, that's a great film. That's on Indicator, isn't it? Laurence Olivier is in that. Very good film. Excellent. And then Tony says another Premier is River of No Return with Marilyn Monroe and Rock Hudson.
Oh, I've got that in the Marilyn Monroe collection, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. And then love Bunny Lake. It is a great film. I'm quite a big fan of Premier. I loved Anatomy of a Murder, another of his films. He says Robert Mitchum, not Rock Hudson. Yeah, Robert Mitchum, great.
I just know that film.
Great villains.
That's in my Marilyn Monroe collection. It was 2 volumes, and they came in all little thin cases, and I know it's in there.
Yeah, interesting actor, Robert Mitchum. And then, is that available on Blu-ray, Tony? Hammer was slow in sending them out, I think, Del. I saw an unboxing by a guy who cancelled his order from Hammer and reordered from Amazon. They've already released cheaper versions of the first one.
Captain Kronos.
I'd be more interested in that. Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't ordered it then, Ian, because I thought you liked Captain Kronos.
I do. I've just been caught up yet with it. Couple of titles, I think, not got any myself yet. Yes, Jamie, I've got a foreign edition. I think it's German. Yes, I've got The Offence in a Sidney Lumet box set by Imprint. Wow, not watched it yet though. That's Sean Connery one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then Roger Moore was my favorite Bond when I was growing up. I was born in the early 70s. Yeah, I think what Delboy said is true. It's when you were born is your favorite Bond. Tony says, I personally prefer his humor and not taking himself too seriously. Yeah, that was an appeal. And also, I think The Saint, the fact that people knew him from The Saint, I think helped him such a lot. He had a big fan base already when he went into Bond.
Yeah, like I say, even The Persuaders, which was only one season with Tony Curtis.
Yeah.
I mean that was a big show, and to be quite honest, it was him being a rich man driving around in sports cars, blah 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 blah. That's basically Bond.
Yeah.
He's not really rich, but he's not poor because he's got a bank account owned by the Bank of England, isn't he? And he has to get a credit card out and say, "Yeah, I'll buy this." Oh, you want me to put a 20,000 bet on? Yeah, all right. Here you go. Here's my credit card. It's not his credit card, is it? Bloody taxpayers' credit card.
Sandra says, "Damn, I knew Delboy would miss my question. No, you rabbited too long. Well, we did get the question. I saved it, so
what was
you
it?
did answer the question. I've forgotten. Terrible,
what was it?
I'm
not going to miss that out. What was it?
I'm just going right back. I'm sure. I thought we saved it and you did answer it.
The last one I was about the Switch 2, and that I said that it's a good console. That's about the last.
I think that was it. I think it was about. Oh yeah, it is. I've got it. It's here. This is what you did. It was that one.
Yeah, I answered that.
So you did answer that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Let's get back here.
I said 27 hours in 4 days. Christ, there's only 2 and a bit days you haven't been playing it.
I think we are. Yeah, Tony. That's why I prefer him over Connery. Yeah, I say it's where people are born. Whatever. What about the Matrix being in black and white when they're inside the Matrix, but outside the Matrix, it's in color?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea. So I says, me too, McMahon. I'm a Roger Moore fan, born 74, so I'm a prime Moore fan. Yeah, it would be. It's only oldies like me. Si says, Mad Max Fury Road in sepia is unbelievable.
Yeah, I bought all the Mad Max, and they kept bringing out a black and white edition and a color one, and a black and white edition and a color one. I kept buying it.
Yeah. And then we've got Jim L348. Hey, late again. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jim. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, and then we've got Jim from Tony. Tony, sorry, Casualties of War. Dracula came to England for fresh blood, apparently, to escape his decaying homeland and conquer fresh territory. So AL tells me. Oh,
AI. Artificial intelligence.
Oh yeah. I nearly said Al. Oh dear. Right.
We've answered the question. We know it was because it was all because of Renfield.
And of course, Tony's real reason was he wanted to see God's own country. Bayek. He ended up in Whitby, of course. Whitby is the greatest place.
What a load of bollocks!
It is the pinnacle of brilliance.
Everybody
knows that.
Everybody knows that when you come across to England, it's the White Cliffs of Dover. Whitby,
and you go to Whitby because Whitby is the place. Yeah.
If you go to Whitby, you're blown off course by quite a few miles.
You don't go to Brighton and all these posh places. No character. You go to Whitby. Posh. You've got character. You've got brilliant is Whitby.
Seasides are not posh.
Well, Brighton thinks it is. Look at all the
Brighton is not posh.
It's considered one of the I think it's the highest place of house prices and where to live in the country.
People that go to Brighton Beach are just people that go to Brighton Beach are just there to see the nudists.
A load of it's a suburb of London.
It's just honestly, you could keep talking over me. It is to see the nudists in Brighton.
It's just
that is it.
Absolute oh dear. Who'd want to go and live with that rubbish, you know?
And I've never been to Brighton in my life.
No, yeah. Tony laugh out loud. He says, Not a big Shakespeare fan, Terence says, but I enjoyed watching Ian McKellen as Richard III, 1995, with the setting moved to 1930.
Yeah, it's a retelling in
Brilliant.
1930. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we Bob. Anyway, gents, I will watch on catch up and have a good evening. So you'll have gone by now, but thank you, Wee Bob Art. And if you're on the catch up, hello, we're still here.
Yeah.
Wee
Bob Art knows what I think of him. He's a great man. And if you haven't seen his channel, please go over there.
Yes.
He's an absolutely fantastic artist, but he's got such an insight into films now because he's been watching an awful lot. He's got his own opinion of films and actually likes to portray what he thinks of them. He's not swayed by what people are saying. You know, he likes what he likes, and that's what it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Jim L348 says, favorite Vincent Price film, Fall of the House of Usher. Yeah, great film as well.
Nothing wrong with the Poe films, I told you.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
them. And then Night Bob, Nightwee Bob. What is the worst purchase you have in your collections?
Condor Man. No, I haven't got that.
I got rid of them when I've had bad purchases. I've just got rid of them. I don't want them in collection. Like I say, I had that Dracula one, and I really didn't like it. I even had it on 4K and just got rid of it. Can't think about anything. I haven't purged my collection. I'm very careful in what I try and buy now. Though I did take a risk on that one, but I enjoyed it.
Oh no, I didn't show it.
What is it?
No, I didn't show it.
Okay then.
Shall I show you?
Go on then. You want to show it, really? Go on.
No, I don't. I don't want to show it because it's shit. Where is it? I finally succumbed. You'll get a kick out of this.
Oh, go on.
I finally succumbed, right? It was cheap. Very cheap.
Yeah. Oh, no, what a pile of... what
you know how much I paid for that?
I hope you did pay much.
That was unwrapped £2.50 in Kex 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I've got
£2.50.
Oh, I don't know whether even at £2.50 I could have it in my collection. It is. Oh, God.
Yeah, but he wanted to know of crap in the collection.
It's the worst. Oh dear. I'll tell you what. I'll go and get you what I think is the worst in my collection, but nobody else will. I can guarantee you'll all like it, and I don't like it, but I've got it for reasons.
Well, boys and girls, I don't know what to talk about, really. Other than, sorry, you're still the man as far as I'm concerned when it comes to going to cinema.
The worst. I can't stand this. And I've even got the blooming soundtracks in my collection. It was my late wife's had this. She loved it.
2001.
I cannot stand it. This pile of rubbish. This is just the worst musical. I can't stand them chirping away, and God, what an awful film it is. Oh,
you haven't seen Grease 2
even having the blooming soundtrack. But
Hey,
I have to
you,
keep it in the collection.
you haven't seen Grease 2 then?
No, well, it can't be any worse than
Oh
this.
yeah, it can.
It
Oh, it
cannot.
can.
Really, this is just a pile of. I can't stand it.
Did you ever hear of Grease 2 soundtrack going platinum? Did you ever hear of
No, well,
the
no, I
main
know
actors in Grease 2? Can you even remember who the actors are in
no,
Grease
well, I
2?
don't want. It's bad enough knowing this.
Michelle Pfeiffer is in Grease
Yeah,
2,
I mean,
right?
John Travolta is a great actor. I like John Travolta, but in this, no. Um, Olivia Newton-Bomb, she's great doing her other stuff, and but this, what on earth was she doing? And then she did some more, didn't she? She did Xanadu one. Oh,
Hey,
please,
I
please.
like Xanadu. Shut your
But
face.
this is overrated. Most people like it. Oh, they go, oh, I see it on on YouTube. Oh,
The trouble
what's
with
your
Xanadu,
favorite
I
musical?
tell you what, the
And they
trouble
go,
with Xanadu,
this is
the
their
trouble
favorite
with
musical.
Xanadu is
Ah,
it's a mess of different things.
yeah, but this is just, it's overrated.
Greece, Greece,
Everybody does it,
Greece,
all these
Greece,
schools and things. Oh, we'll do
Greece is
Greece.
Greece is just a
Oh,
musical about two teenagers falling
it's
in love.
rubbish. I just remember that song, it got on my nerves. You're the one that I want. It was for #1 forever and ever. It was awful. And you had to listen every week, these charts with that clip of them. You're the one that I want. I could have just. Oh, what a load of rubbish it was. And here it is. It's in my collection. What can I say? Rubbish.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I think my steel book trumped your Greece. I'm sorry.
And I wouldn't entertain the steelbook in my collection. No way. No way. But
£2.50 that was.
yeah,
£2.50.
you were charged too much for that, I think. Bloody hell. Oh dear. Yeah. But Greece, overrated. Just it's terrible. Um, yeah, I know. My wife will be turning in her grave. She would be. She thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, so it says Ron Howard. Yeah,
No, that's when I was
we've
talking
got
about
there.
that
Yeah,
director. I couldn't
yeah,
remember.
that's right. And favorite non-Hammer Peter Cushing film. Tony York says.
Oh,
There's one that I've got, and I'm trying to remember the title. He's a bad
I'm gonna
fighter.
get the title wrong, but you'll know what I'm talking about. It's those ones with Doug McClorin. Is it Journey to the Center of the Earth? Journey to the Center of the Earth, is it? It's that one with the flight with those sort of like creatures that are like birds that are in it.
It could be, yeah.
Is it Journey to the Center of the Earth?
I'm just gonna get.
It's not Warlords of Atlantis. It's not.
No. Let's have a look.
And then second is the one that you know that I keep having an argument with Denny with, and that is the From Beyond the Grave, where he's the person who owns the antique shop, and everybody who buys an item from his antique shop, if they try to rip him off, they die. And I told you all of those anthology stories. The one where
From Beyond the Grave.
Yeah, From Beyond the Grave.
And
apparently, I'll be able to buy it. Right, I'll be able to buy it because it's being re-released on Blu-ray later next month, and it's $14.99.
Yeah. Geez. Yeah, he's got.
Oh, Tony's already said it. It's at the Earth's core.
That's it. Yeah. He's got so many. God, he's got loads of films. Absolute stuff.
I mean, obviously, people will say Star Wars and all of that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I'm just going to explain that when I saw Peter Cushing, it was always in Hammer horror films, right? But when he was not in a Hammer horror film, it would be in a Doug McClure film.
Yeah. And
You know
what
I mean?
about one I was trying to remember is because he played the sheriff of Nottingham. He liked playing an evil character as well.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember that? I've got that somewhere.
Yeah, he did. He
With
did.
the TV Robin Hood. What was his name? Who played the TV Robin Hood version? Oh, you remember he was on TV?
Wow, was it Sean Connery's son?
No. Let me see. Here it is. Richard Green. Richard Green played the
Oh
TV.
wow, that's the 50s. That's the
50s. No, 50s into 60s. I was watching it on TV in 60s, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because you're a pensioner.
Oh. Oh, Cash on Demand. Yeah, that's another good one. There's some really good ones. She. It was in She. Oh, She. What a film that is.
But if anybody wants to question me about From Beyond the Grave, the first one is a seance with a mirror. I think Donald Pleasance is buying matchsticks from a blind lady. Yeah. There's Ian Ogilvy who buys a door with a door frame, and when the door opens, there's a bloke behind the door who wants sacrifices and blood. And even if you chop the door down, it didn't kill him. You had to kill the frame as well, the door frame as well. That was really good. I like From Beyond the Grave. It was because he had a chilling thing, and he said, and a secret surprise with every purchase. And I was going, you creepy bastard.
Yeah. Yeah. As it describes here, it says the sinister owner of a London antique shop puts the customers in appalling situations, offering them evil objects they can't refuse.
But it wasn't that.
I love that.
It's actually they came in and they said, I like that mirror. I'll give you a £5 for it. Oh, no, it's 50 quid. Oh, come on. You ain't going to sell it for anything. I'll give you a £5 for it. And then actually they gave him £4 and left the store with it. So that means they shortchanged him and knocked him down. So instantly he's going, right, you're going to have your comeuppance. That's what it was. He was being ripped off by these people. They deserved to die.
That's it. Yeah, ripping off. It says that. Yeah. It's a good one. He made so many good films, Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
So many good ones.
I love that film, though, From Beyond the Grave.
I like Asylum a lot. That the story in that is a tailor who's very poor, and he's making this suit to special specifications.
Yeah.
And to bring this bloke's son alive, he's dead, and that's a good one. So many good ones. Anyhow, I could go on. We better get moving on. So,
what was your favourite non-Hammer Peter Cushing film then? She, was it?
She. I love She. She's great film. I actually haven't seen that for years. I don't think they've even released that on Blu-ray, have they? She.
Isn't that Hammer though? She.
Yeah, I don't think it is. Is She Hammer? I don't know.
I don't know, but it says non-Hammer.
Yeah, you're right. It could be Hammer. She. But I'm not sure. I know they did a sequel, didn't they? And it wasn't Ursula Andress in that. Yeah. So She. Yeah. Yeah. It was a Hammer. It was a Hammer film.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not going to mention the Doctor Who films, are you?
Oh yeah, I could do, but I won't do. That's too easy to remember. Oh yeah, the Ghoul. That's a good. Oh, that's Hammer. That's Hammer. Oh, so oh, Fear in the Night. Yes, that's the one. It's got Joan Collins in, and is it
Is that Amicus?
Judy Geeson. That's it. Peter Cushing, Judy Geeson, Joan Collins, and Ralph Bates. Yes,
Is that Amicus?
no. Yeah, I think this is Amicus. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Just checking. Fear in the Night. Let's see, produced by. Oh, it is Hammer. It is Hammer. Blooming heck! I'm trying to find it.
Good sake, man! For God's sake, crying out loud!
It's because he did so many films for Hammer.
Oh yeah, it looks like you never watched anything other than Hammer. Bloody hell.
No, but Asylum definitely isn't. That's definitely. I'm gonna
right. We'll have Asylum then next.
Yeah, we'll have Asylum. That's definitely not. That's Amicus.
Oh Jesus, man!
The first Amicus film. Yes, there we are. We'll do that. Right. Okay. Where are we? I'm trying to find where I am. We're getting there now, don't we? Yeah. Right. Next one. There's nudists in Brighton. Oh, they've got a nudist beach, haven't they? Yeah.
This is when you were talking over me, I will have to say that because you were.
Yeah.
Brighton has got a nudist beach. Of course it has. It's Brighton. It's well known, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where all the pervs go to go and see people.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Absolutely. Culturally so important, that, isn't it? Yeah. Never seen Grease. Tony, do yourself a favor. Don't watch it. It's appalling. It's terrible.
Watch Xanadu instead.
It's a criminal to be made a criminal offence. That film.
Watch Xanadu instead.
My local independent cinema is doing a Paul Thompson Anderson section in August, so I'm going to watch. Oh, There Will Be Blood. Oh, Boogie Nights, Magnolia on the big screen. Oh, good films. Brilliant.
I saw Boogie Nights at the cinema. I saw Magnolia at the cinema. I didn't see There Will Be Blood at the cinema.
Brilliant films. You'll enjoy them. Definitely. We've done that one. Star Wars for non-Hammer bit cushion film. Star Wars. Good choice. You were enjoying was a shopkeeper in From Beyond the Grave.
Yeah.
At the Earth's Cordell. From Beyond the Grave, great film. And then Rich Will says hello there, Rich. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Rich. Tony says Top Secret is a great Peter Cushing film. All right.
I don't think I've seen that. I must have seen it. Top Secret.
Yeah. And that's it. Yes, we've reached the end. Thank you, everyone who's watched this and who's contributed with questions and comments. And thank you for everyone else who's just watched. And thank you, Delboy. Thank you so much for doing it. I've got some more. Tony saying good night and saying night, guys. Thank you, Cy, and thank you, Tony.
Two such lovely people, Cy and Tony.
Thank you so much for being here.
Jim, thanks for turning up. Muckman, absolutely marvelous, mate. I'm so glad.
Yeah, Muckman. Thank you, Jamie.
I can't wait to see your next video, Muckman. Really can't.
Yeah, and that's it. Thank you, everyone that's watched and contributed. And so I'll give our farewells as we normally do.
Oh, just before I go, Muckman, you can text me your next game because the person I'm doing next has texted me his, and I'm going to be recording it soon. So don't do it here. text me in the normal way. And the good night is we always do the two Ronnies, don't we? And it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night. And that's why they used to do their end bit. But my one is always Frankie Howard's salute. Let's go, salute.
And all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again. Bye. Bye.